A Court of Fairies and Fiction. ACOFAF Girls Podcast. Hosts Mel and Liv. Season 2, Episode 1, HOFAS Hot Takes.
Hello.
Hello.
I feel like we haven't filmed in so long.
It's been a minute.
It's been
And
so long.
A lot has happened.
But welcome to season 2.
Welcome back.
It's very exciting. I can't believe we made it to season 2.
I know.
I have my Starborn glasses tops on. I have my Jelly Jubilee shirt that you got me for Christmas. From Sparrow and Wild on Instagram. I love her. You should check out her shop as well.
She's wonderful.
I have a shop too. I have a shop too called Courts of Merch. They're both on Etsy. You can find both of me and Sparrow and Wild on Etsy.
And your sweatshirts are amazing. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So
I will wear mine when I finally get my samples in. I got some samples and I sent you a bunch of samples.
I still have to send you pictures. I legit wear the shirts. I honestly do. I just never get ready. So I don't think you're going to want to post that picture on your Etsy account.
Dude, I sent you some samples that I think you're really gonna.
I'm going to freak out. I hope it's Cassian.
There's a couple. There's a couple. I think one of them is Cassian. One of them is Lucian.
Yes. Oh,
I put a bunch of stuff on my new Etsy shop. I am drop shipping sweatshirts because it's easier than doing them at my house.
Yeah.
Because like I have a lot of stock. Like I have a lot of t-shirts and stuff, and sweatshirts are way bulkier. So it's just easier to like drop ship them.
Oh yeah. It makes total sense too.
Another shout out to Sparrow and Wild because I DM'd her and I was like, where do you drop ship these? Because there's so many places online and I want somewhere reputable. And she was very kind to tell me.
She's wonderful.
So.
And she follows up too. She reaches out. She's like, hey, Melanie was like, I don't know who gave me this sweatshirt.
Yeah, I was like, it didn't come with anything. I was like,
yeah. She was like, is it okay if I tell her it was you? And I was like, yes, you can tell her it was me. Who does that? That's so awesome. She's wonderful.
She's wonderful. She's awesome.
She's so great.
But anyway, season 2 of A Court of Fairies and Fiction. Yeah, we have a lot to break down.
There's a
lot of complaints. We have a lot of shockers. We also have a lot of stuff that we really liked about the book too, though.
Yeah, and I want to say this too before people are like, "Oh, you read the leak? How dare you?" Okay,
yes.
Melanie and I have both purchased multiple copies,
and we did not cancel them.
And we didn't cancel. We have all of our pre-orders. Like we fully intend to read the English print version and the ebooks that are coming out. So I don't want anyone to say, "Oh my gosh, look at you read the leaks."
And again, whatever we say today, like take with a grain of salt. The translation was rough, obviously. It was hard. It was hard to get through. It was a little rough, but you kind of get the gist of the scenes, what was happening and what was being said. I don't know what you want to start with. Do we start with the questions? Do we start with... I think we should probably just do like a basic summary. Not really summary, but what it was versus what we thought it was.
I like that idea. And I think we should keep it vague initially before going into more detail about the actual book and the scenes itself. But like our expectations versus reality, and possibly like where she could be taking all of her series from here on out.
Yes. I just want to say, first and foremost, I fucking told you Azriel's book was next, bitches. Boom.
That's
all I want to say. If that's all I can say, that's all I would say. If Reese was here and took my voice away, that's all I needed to say.
I love it. No, it's definitely Asriel's book. Anyone who's
Undeniable now. Come on.
Totally.
Even
It's
before it
so-
was undeniable and people are fighting with me. And I'm like, now? Ain't no question. There's no question.
Well, maybe give us like reason as to why you think now there's no question. Is it
Well,
because
before it was because he had short POVs in ACOFAF. He had his own bonus chapter in ACOFAF.
Right.
We knew that he was in a HOFAS bonus chapter. So that's already 3 things. Also, the whole truth teller thing going into HOFAS. So we knew he was kind of going to be a part of HOFAS. Asriel is a part of HOFAS, not a gigantic part. Prithian, unfortunately, is not a gigantic part of HOFAS because apparently she decided it's a Crescent City book. I should stay more in Midgard. That's very sad. But he was featured, him and Nesta were featured the most in HOFAS. And boy, are there questions about Asriel that I have. So many. No answers whatsoever.
yeah.
But yeah, I think, should I do like a breakdown real quick of the characters for people?
Start first with like what we were told, what we were publicized, and what it really is. So
Right.
what Mel and I found out, right? I personally, this is my personal opinion, I feel like leading up, and I'm not saying that I waited forever for the Crescent State book by any means. I feel like I was good on the timing in between the books, okay? But I do feel like there was a lot of like talk in interviews that this was probably going to be a multiverse, right? Like all 3, it was
that was what everybody thought.
Yeah. That was
That's what it was supposed to be.
My impression, yeah, that like we were gonna see ACOTAR and we were gonna see possibly Tog. Possibly, but it was kind of
But it was up in the air.
Yeah. It was up in the air. And I do not feel like if you
So here's what I think happened.
Okay.
I think she got excited. I think she wanted to do it like a multiverse. I think she spoke too soon, as SJM tends to do a lot of the time, kind of like me. And she said a lot of things before she finished her draft, like half is in Midgard and half is in Prithian. And then we got the September 26th interview where she said, I trashed my whole first draft because I didn't like it. I didn't like how it came out. I started a new one and I was so into it that I finished it in 5 weeks. And that's the final result. Unfortunately, the final result that she loved was not half Midgard and half Prithian.
Yeah.
So if my count is right, there are 18 or 19 chapters involving Prithian out of 103.
So I would say to readers, we need to dim our expectations, and it is not
lower your expectations to zero.
I know. Is not going to be the multiverse. We do not have Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War.
No Ragnarok.
No Ragnarok. And I was convinced that there was a lot in remember we talked about the snake on the cover being like
the Ouroboros and
and that there was a lot of like Norse mythology. So that's not happening here. That is not happening. And I was super bummed about it because I expected this huge war, and like do you follow Paint Fairy on Instagram by chance? She drew something.
A lot of the art accounts blocked me.
I don't know why, but she drew a really beautiful picture. I think I sent it to you, and it's like Bryce in armor with Feyre and Nesta in armor at her side.
Yeah.
I sent it.
It was gorgeous.
Loved it. That's what I thought we were gonna get. I thought we were gonna get all of our ACOTAR people and all of our Crescent State people lined up next to each other on a battlefield.
Yes. So the German cover, as we had gone over before, is a gigantic portal. So what I thought was going to happen was that Bryce was going to open up this gigantic portal.
Yeah.
The worlds were going to basically be on the same plane for a certain amount of time to destroy the Asteri.
Yep.
And we were going to have the Illyrians and the Darkbringers and the Valkyries and, the Daycourt Legion, anyone that Tamlin could scrounge up from Spring, and maybe Baron would have taken the Asteri side like Einar, and we would have gotten the families that were separated between worlds meeting each other again, like Lady A and Einar, or Morven and Cormac and Azriel, because obviously they're related.
Oh.
And Rhys and Rune. She hyped up Rhys and Rune. Nothing.
There was nothing in it. Nothing.
No war. Well, there is a war, but it's only on Midgard, and it's only with Bryce, and it's only with the Midgard factions. Why is everyone just distant cousins? I was very sad about that.
Well, yeah. I think it's because you're sad because we thought we had some connections going on there, right? And that there was maybe a little bit more to it than what we got.
The fact that, again, Lady Autumn and Einar, doppelgangers, completely. Rhys and Rune, doppelgangers, completely. Even Ember and Helion, doppelgangers, completely. Oh, they come from the same line. That would not make complete doppelgangers.
Well, Ember and Helion, that's our fan theory, right?
I mean, going by the description, she does look exactly like him.
Well, so that's my part of my problem with this book, right? Is that it's like, are we just reading too much into it? Does she just reuse the same characteristics? You know what I mean? Because I could have sworn that Rhys was related to a certain Tog character, and that is definitely not the case.
Maeve. Well, she's again, we don't know because she doesn't let Rhys talk about it. And Rhys isn't even there when they see the friggin' hologram of Celine.
Well, that's what. So
my question is, did he know it was there?
I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
But if he didn't, how would he know that Mor is only his cousin in the loosest sense and the bloodline switched at some point?
It must have just been told by mouth. Like, it must have just been like a secret for the sons, right? That was so that must be what's going on there. It's really weird. I mean, the problem with this book is that I thought and I'm gonna read the English version because maybe it's translation, but I don't think that it is. Is that it seems like there were supposed to be some answers, and I'm just not seeing that.
That's my biggest gripe with this book, is that all the breadcrumbs in ACOFAF, all the breadcrumbs in Crescent City 2, aside from one or two of them, never mentioned.
Yeah.
It's like she left this trail of all this stuff to connect and never connects them.
Right.
And it's not just like our theory stuff. It's like the actual stuff that she put in there. Like Meryl with all the research of the worlds.
Yep. Yeah.
Where was Meryl?
Yeah.
What about Rhys's orrery?
Yeah.
What about what did he know about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
that was such a big
Pegasi. How did they get to the Day Court if they were originally Dusk Court? Why does the mask have the Day Court symbol on it? Like, none of these are answered. None.
No. It was really weird. It's really weird because you have these like really major discoveries happening in a certain location, and Rhys, right, who is a big deal, and I felt he should have been way more present in this book.
We don't like Reese, but we like
Well, wait a
plot.
second. I like Reese. You do not like
kinda
Reese.
like Reese.
I
Okay.
do like Reese.
Well, we like plot
It's 50-50.
more.
Yeah. Yes.
That's my thing. If he's very necessary to the plot,
He's
I would
very
expect
this,
him to be in the plot.
this is very Reese.
The one time that Reese needs to be in a friggin' book,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not in it. Well, he's in it, but he literally is just there when they're interrogating her and never seen again.
I will say it was kind of like a little shocking because like
I was
it's
stunned.
because this is his time to shine. This is his book. This is where we need to see him. And like, I don't know, I feel like someone dropping in from a different world is kind of like that takes precedent over whatever else is going on.
It's like she was there
Anything.
and then he just didn't care.
But that's I don't understand it.
weird. But that's why I'm still delusional. That's why I told you there has to be a Prithian side to this. And if she didn't want to make 1,000-something page book, maybe there's a tandem read. I don't have a lot of hope, but there should be. There should be what was happening in Prithian after all of this information comes to light. What were the discussions? What was talked about? What does Reese actually know? What was Amryn saying after all of that? What did Azriel and Nesta go back and tell them after Bryce stole Truth Teller and jumped through the portal back to Midgard? Like, what happened?
It's really crazy. I mean, unless she's making it come into the next ACOTAR book. But at the same time, how? There's so much in ACOTAR to address
already.
And address it in this book. This is Rhysand's book. This is everything we need to know about him.
The Night Court, the Dust Court.
The
Day Court is... Did I not tell you that sentence would be in this book? The sun is the biggest star. How many times have I said that? And I read that and I texted you and I go, fuck it.
I know.
And I go, where the hell is Helion? Where the hell is Lucian?
Yeah. But that's what's weird. That's what's weird, right? Is it's like there are some key players here, and if they had just been present a little bit more, the book, it would have been phenomenal. Phenomenal from what I can gather. Like mind-blowing.
Even if she didn't want to take anybody's theories, she should have at least taken her own breadcrumbs and closed them.
That's what I mean.
Eaten them up.
You know, but here's the thing is I don't think anyone had a theory, and it's not even a theory about Rhysand being present. And I don't understand why he wasn't. I mean, his presence alone, more in this book, would have made the book.
Yeah.
Completely.
Again, as somebody who doesn't like Rhys, I heavily prefer plot that makes sense over not seeing a character I don't like.
Right.
It made sense for him to be in this book.
Right. I will never understand it.
It's his, first and foremost, it's his family history.
Yeah.
And we have Azriel and Nesta watching it.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I just don't see anything else in Prithian being more important than an intergalactic visitor, and I'm just raging thinking about it. So you mean to tell me he comes in, he's like, oh, Bryce, so you're from Midgard. Let's talk about that. Ask her 5 questions.
Okay, first of all, can we pause for 1 second? First of all, what was with the special pill that allowed her to speak their language? He was like, hold up 2 seconds. I know exactly what we need in this situation. Poof, turns into darkness and winnows. Comes back, take this special pill. It's a know all the languages pill. It's to solve all of our language barrier problems pill.
What?
Where did it come from? How do you have a pill like this that exists if you had no idea that there were people on other planets?
Not only that, but so you mean to tell me you have a pill, my friend, but you don't do C-sections? What in the holy Prithian am I reading?
I knew that was gonna come up. I knew it. But the fact that he has an orrery, right? So maybe his dad was like, okay, there's like other planets out there. Maybe his dad told him, all right, half of our bloodline, there's a legend, right? That half of our bloodline migrated to another world. Just keep that in mind, son. I don't know. What I want to know is who made the pills? Why did they make the pills? Was it a spell?
I know.
If it's a spell, is he still part witch?
You know what? I have learned a very critical detail this past week. And that is that I might be more imaginative than the things that I'm reading. I might be connecting dots that really
But this should not
there.
be imaginative. This should have been common explanation if you're going to bring something into the book.
Well,
And
I'm gonna be, yeah. She should have kept the translator the whole time because that's more realistic. Like I would have been that way. Like her and Amryn
literally Amryn
had to
should have
be
been
by
following them
her
around.
side. Yeah, there you go.
Amryn or even Gwen, because Gwen even said after the whole Meryl thing in ACOFAF, oh, as part of my priestess schooling, we had to learn the old language. Gwen knows the old language.
Rhys knows. He knows the
part
language.
of it.
Part of it.
Yeah. As part of his schooling, which again could have been from the legend or something. But
well, that's
who
just
cares a pill, swallow it.
It's very
and the fact that she just swallows it.
And she's like, you got it, buddy. Give me that pill.
Okay, but the way that I was rooting for her, at first because Rhys is all like dick fucky and annoying and egotistical, like he is. Very Rhys. Very Rhys.
Very Rhys.
And you have Azriel all cold, holding truth teller. And it was chilling Spymaster Azriel was a very different vibe. I kind of vibed with it. I kind of liked it. I liked seeing that part of his job because we've been told throughout the books how chilling he is, how terrifying he is, how cold he is when he's working. I did like that we got to see that, actually.
But I did like that too. I did.
He's there, and then Amryn's there, and she's sitting in a chair, and they were so kind not to tie her up in the chair.
I know.
Had to note how handsome she was like, the High Lord was, and how nice it was that he didn't actually tie her up. But basically, Rhys is like, okay, you're telling me all of this. How do we know you're not lying? Let me look in your mind. And she's like, the fuck you ain't.
No, I liked Dreiser.
No, you're not.
I was like, go girl.
So, of course, then we have one of Rhys's ever famous choices. Ever famous giving the female a choice. So he says,
Melanie.
So he says, you can allow me in your mind, or you can stay here until you do. But it's a choice. He's giving her a choice of whether he can look in her mind or not. It's just how long it'll take for her to starve down there.
I know. Do you want to know something that I loved? And I love Bryce, and I think I've been pretty vocal about this. Like Bryce is my favorite. I haven't finished Hog yet, but Bryce right now is my favorite leading lady, or she was until this book. Yeah, until the end of this book. Until the end of this book.
She was giving Aelin in this book. She was giving Aelin. And the fact that the Tog girls cannot see that, I think is so funny.
Yeah. Well, what I loved, and I love this line, and like this made me laugh, is like, so Rhys gives her food down in the dungeon, right?
Food.
And you have the drain, and there's like the little monster underneath that's like hissing at her occasionally. And Bryce is sitting there with her peas, and she's like throwing it down to the monsters. And I was
fucking
like,
love her.
I love
But again,
Bryce.
what was the beast? Is it the Ouroboros snake? Like what? What are
Apparently
the
that
beasts?
snake
Are
meant
they
nothing.
dragons? Are they
We're
wyverns?
never
Are they
we're never gonna
what?
know. We're never gonna know. So we
But
gotta learn
apparently
that.
they were terrified of her starlight, so she could walk right through.
I thought that was pretty cool, actually. Like when I was reading that, I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And then I like the scene she like finally crawls in on the other side, and like you hear the snap like coming after her, and I was like, I like this scene.
Like you
I
like
liked it. I did like that.
See, I look way too deep into things, and I know, like both of us, we need to suspend some disbelief here. But she's in Asriel's cell. She's in Asriel's dungeon, Asriel's domain, where he tortures people, right?
Right.
And you have the grate with the monster underneath, right? How on earth, how on Midgard, how on Prithian did she just lift up the gate?
I know. You want to know what? That's actually a really valid point. But she did something with her star, I thought, didn't she? Like,
well, she looked past the gate to see if there were monsters there. They were, and then they were terrified of the light. She saw them like scurry away from the light. She's like, "Oh, good, they're afraid of my light. I'm good." But then she's just like, bloop.
I know. I thought that there
It
was like
wasn't
a
locked.
there was like a line or something. Didn't she winnow? Maybe? I don't know.
No, because
I
she
don't know.
closed it after her because Asriel is pissed when they find her, when him and Nesta find her, and they're like, he was like, "My shadows told me that you snuck through this gate." And she's like, "Oh, so they were spying on me." He's like, "Yeah, that's the point. Like they were watching you the whole time."
I thought Nesta said that. Wasn't it Nesta? That was like our shadow friends told us.
Our
like,
shadow friends. Yeah, the shadows
Yeah.
reported back to them.
Yeah, but Nesta was the one standing over her. But I love that Az was pissed.
He was pissed. You're not gonna have a lock on the grate that has a monster under it? I mean, I know your specific brand of torture, but
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of like silly things like that I'm like,
it's just little things that like put
it's a
some
little
more thought
off.
into it.
It's a little off. It's not. I don't feel like that doesn't seem SJM to me. That's the pill, the language pill. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Pill. Do you know how many memes are gonna be going around between that and the USB bullet meme? That's gonna be hilarious. And the horny zombie.
I love that horny song. You can touch me wherever you like. It's not what he was saying. I could just see it too, like this guy with like this really thick blonde mane, and he's like with hypaxia, being really weird.
I can see it. Oh my god.
So was his throat ripped out? Is that what that was? Because he was dealing with the vampires. Yeah, that's sad. Poor dude. So was it the same night he slept with Bryce that he got killed? Or no? We don't know.
So he worked for a sector of the Ox.
Yeah.
We don't know when. It was sometime after that when they were investigating, I think, when the club blew up.
Oh.
So he was like, because oh god, what the hell was his name? The vampire that was like trying to assault Bryce. So they were like, it was during that when they were trying to see like who stole whatever from Luna's temple and all this.
He was accused initially. The vampires were accused initially, I remember.
Yeah. So they attacked him, and poor lion guy.
That was really sad, actually. I was kind of bummed. Like, and one of the last things he does is sleep with Bryce. I mean, it's a good thing to do, but
I know. But and then like the way that Ethan was like, ugh, like he's such a sleaze or whatever, and Hypaxia is like, he's actually very sad and lonely. He's like, what do you mean? And she's like, you couldn't tell, like he's a Reaper because he's terrified of dying. He chose to be a Reaper.
I didn't know that. I didn't read that part. I think I skipped that. So tell me exactly what happened. She was
Not to
tell me
like,
this.
not to skip to this, but I really loved this scene. So yeah, I don't know, he's wandering around somewhere and she's like, go get me a Reaper. And, you know, Ethan finds him eager to help solve the problem in Midgard, which again, so helpful.
I love Ethan.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. He's a fantastic character.
But like even the lion guy, like, oh, he's dead. The parasite in the water isn't affecting him, and he's still like, okay, I'll help.
I know. Oh my God.
I told the chat, I know we're getting super off topic from where we
I
started.
know.
We
I know.
always do that. But I told the chat, I'm like, I want to write a fic about the lion guy. I'm like, I could even make it I can fix her fic with the lion guy and Amelie.
Please, dear God, write it. Please, dear God, write it. Because
Amelie, she needs something.
was she
Needs some good dick or something. Like this guy he's good.
He's good. So explain to me the Reapers again. So he was just like wandering around, like what, like
So they're called I don't know if it was a translation said semi-life, but I think they're called half-lives.
half-lives.
So they still have they're not like total zombies. They still have like their brain, which is kind of goes against what a zombie is, but like a Reaper's kind of different. They still have like their sentience and their brain or whatever, but they're still undead. So it's not like a life. So they have their head, but they don't have like
and he's
life,
sad and
basically.
lonely.
Which, you know what that reminds me of? And I wonder if she was I wonder if she watched this movie because it was the 10-year anniversary of this movie last year. And it was giving me big vibes, Warm Bodies. Have you ever saw that movie?
So I remember when Warm Bodies came out, I never saw it.
I was supposed to be a freshman in college. I was so excited for that movie. I actually went with my mom and I fucking loved that movie because it was literally the lion guy in this book. It was a zombie, but the more that he talked to people that were living, the more that he got like himself back, sort of.
Yeah.
So he was still
Yeah.
undead. But like he was like a sweet little teddy bear, but he was stuck as a zombie. And I'm like,
so
I was like reading this and I was like, this has to be a Warm Bodies reference.
reference.
It has to be a Warm Bodies reference.
We gotta talk about references because I love that. Is it so funny that now, like to me, one of the best characters in this whole book is the lion guy that got like a 20-second
Again, no name. We're gonna go into that. But
the lion guy.
The lion shifter dude.
So then what happened to him? They let him go or what?
I'm just gonna name him Leo.
Oh, I like that. We're gonna call him Leo the lion guy. Okay. I love it. So what happened to Leo? Because I skipped this whole part in the book. I was a little sad towards this time. So
basically it's like so convoluted because there's so many storylines coming together, which is why again this half of the book is totally SJM. First half of the book I did not get SJM vibes at all. It was weird, and not to slander or anything, just a wild gander. I don't know if she used a ghostwriter. I don't know if she used a co-author. I don't know if she used AI. I have no idea. It felt like the first 50% of the book was not really her writing. Not really her vibe.
It was a little bit odd because
it was off.
It was off. It was off.
So second half of the book, that's when I was getting really into it, right?
Yeah.
And like we had the lion guy, and I loved him so much. He's literally one of my favorite characters. And he's still out there. He's still out there. I want justice for Lion Guy. I want Lion Guy to come back.
I want Lion Guy to come back too.
Because
I love him.
Hypaxia, because I'm assuming the people who are watching this read the book by now, if you're watching it.
We should
But-
post this like after the book's
Oh,
released.
yeah, like a week
Yeah,
after
yeah.
or something.
Like a week
because I
after,
feel
so,
fast forward.
yeah.
But so it's the scene when they find out about the parasite from Bryce. It's after the whole Evelyn thing. And Hypaxia says that she needs Thunderbird power to try to, I don't know, sciencey person. I don't know, separate the molecules, see what happens, whatever. I don't know. And then she tells Ethan that if Bryce says if they do that for him, and he can use whatever Thunderbird power is left to try to resurrect Siggy.
Which it's
Which
like
is a whole other thing.
oh God, I have so much to say about that.
I know,
but go
I
on.
know. So again, Morven having the cabinet of crystals. How come? He wasn't even a rebel.
You know,
Was he just doing?
was
Was he just doing prism experiments like Einar? Because they were best buddies.
yeah.
They were cousins. Or cousins, brothers? Cousins, brothers? Who knows? Could be both.
They're cousins.
No, they
They're
can't be.
cousins.
No, they can't be. They have to just be friends as kings because Morven's related to Lauren because that's how Cormac was ruined.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who?
Yeah.
That's a whole
Another
other
thing. Again,
Go on.
Azriel has to be in that family tree because they have the same exact fucking shadow powers. But anyways, so it's after that whole scene and they give the crystals filled with Hunt's Thunderbird power. Shocker, Hunt's a Thunderbird, another thing. So much going on in this book, in the last half of the book. And so they take the crystals back to Hypaxia's lab and they're doing all of the, testing the water and all of this. And so Hypaxia is like, okay, I'm going to compare your blood, who is obviously tainted because you've drank water. You're a sunball player and everyone's drinking the water, basically. So she compares Ethan's blood to the lion guy's blood because he's a reaper now, so he's dead. And so the parasite did not live on in the reapers once they died. They did not have the parasite in them. Which is kind of sad too, because they don't have their powers when they're dead.
Oh,
So he never got his powers back.
that
That
really
was the
breaks
whole
my heart.
reveal. So the Asteri put the parasite in the water to steal the original elemental powers from the people of Midgard, which, shocker, were from the Tog world. We pretty much figured that out at the end of Crescent City 2. Which is odd because Lydia always had her fire power. She still had her fire powers. That was
So
kind of odd.
Did they
did
just
she-
never
I mean, did
give
she?
No, I think they gave her the antidote like when she was young. Or I guess they not that we know of. The Asteri didn't have
actually,
the antidote. Hypaxia made
no,
that.
I think we're getting confused because she showed up as the living flame in the Mind Bridge with Rune. That's where
Okay.
we're getting confused. So
Okay.
that's where we thought, oh, she has fire powers. But we never actually see Lydia as an undercover Asteri agent use her fire.
Okay.
So she actually didn't really.
No.
But she knew that she had it
No.
for some reason. She knew that
She
it
knew.
was in her.
Yeah.
But we never saw her use it, I don't think, in Crescent City 1 or Crescent City 2.
I don't feel like we saw her use it.
No. So anyways, there's that. So they're doing the whole, she's trying to make the antidote. She makes the antidote. And, she's, I don't know. She's doing something with the Reaper's body. I didn't really get what she was doing in translation. But she had
It was like
she had to put her head on his body.
touching.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was.
I thought she was like feeling his head. Like she had her hands on his head and was just like holding it there, like feeling around for something. I don't know.
I don't know. It lost in translation. Again, something
did.
I'm gonna be very excited to read in the English version. But she was like, "May I?" So you can touch me anywhere, honey. Fucking loved him. And Ethan's like, he's such a creep, and Ethan was all growly and protective of Hypaxia, which was kind of funny. And so that happens, and they thank him, and he's like, okay. He's like, still
Just
kind of
hanging up.
flirting. Still kind of flirting with Hypaxia anytime you need me. Like, whatever. Like, kind of shuffles out because, like, the Reapers kind of float like ghosts, kind of like floats out or whatever. And Ethan's like, he's like such a perv, like, he's whatever. And she's like, no, he's actually very sad and lonely and terrified of death. And that's why he chose to be a Reaper. Because they're called half-lives. He just wanted to cling to any life that he had.
Oh my God.
But it's not.
I will tell you, I don't even know why I'm getting emotional.
And they all have like the acid green eyes, so they all have like the zombie eyes, but like,
oh, this is so stupid. I'm crying over Leo the fucking lion.
We named him Leo, but I don't know what his name is, but I'm naming him Leo.
I think they say his name when she sleeps with him in
Does
Crescent City 1. I don't know. I think in Crescent City 1, like I don't know for a fact.
I need to know his name.
I could be wrong.
Catch me looking up lion guy Bryce slept with.
Yeah.
Lion guy. I love lion guy. Oh, someone mirrored him to Isaac Hale. That's kind of a good mirror. Never thought of that. It was just physical, but like they're kind of good people. I don't know.
I actually love that mirror.
Everyone was so pissed when she did that.
Slept with, I know. I was really pissed off at her too.
Like, poor Connor. Oh,
I know
Connor's a whole other thing in this fucking book.
Connor, literally, I was like very upset after I read that part, and I was texting you. The whole story, crying. I cried. I was like 100%. I cried for literally, I think, like off and on for hours.
Oh no.
That's how I know the second half that's pure SJM. Like,
that's pure SJM.
Because the second half was very good. Very good. If you just fixed the first half, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
You know.
Now I need to know his name. God damn it.
I'm looking. He's here. He's here. So it's when she's at the club with them, right?
Oh, here it is. Chapter 8 of CC1. Stumbled into the White Raven's bathroom, a lion shifter nuzzling her neck, his broad hands grabbing at her waist. Easily the best sex she's had in 3 months.
Yes. Yeah, that's him. You found him before
Maybe I should keep him for a while. Oh, man. Golden-haired lion's words rumbled against her ear. I feel so bad for this guy.
I feel bad for him, too.
Oh, my gosh. His cheekbones were unreal. So were those golden eyes.
I'm not putting any stock into eyes because it does not matter. None of that matters. In the sense, none of the sense matter. Nothing. None of it matters. Does it say his name?
No. Oh my God, that was so embarrassing. She's like, he thought I was a whore. Because remember, he was like, red crept over his tan cheeks, and he blurted out, "I can't pay you." That's so funny. Oh man.
So he's just like he's poor.
Perfect. She thought she was one of the whores.
It's this
on the house. She
poor police officer. What did she say?
Consider it on the house. Oh my God. Yeah, and then she just walks out. I don't see a name.
Oh,
Maximus was the fucking vampire guy. Maximus Tertian.
That's who it was. So
I don't see a name. She said, "Thanks for the ride, whatever your name is." In her mind. I'm naming him Leo.
We'll name him Leo. I'm literally getting
catch my Leo/Amelie fic coming up soon.
I would read that so quick. The way
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. No, I'm gonna write it.
You should write it because I would literally I would love it.
But anyway, Hypaxia was I think Hypaxia was also at the same time trying to see how she would bring back Siggy being a Reaper, and she needed to see if it was possible to bring back someone like that because he also had his throat ripped out, and so did Siggy. But yeah.
Then bring back the lion guy. Bring him back.
DC4, House of Many Waters. Axe
do you think-
is one of Therion's best friends. If she doesn't bring back Lion Guy,
Okay,
bring
so
back
here's
Lion Guy, bring back Cormac.
bring back.
Hypatia, you're a necromancer. Were you a little annoyed though about the whole Siggy situation?
100% because it was pointless. Because the whole thing was pointless. Poor Ethan has had nothing good in this kid's life. And then here he is, he rescues an alpha out of like her cage, her tub.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other problem that we can talk about. But he rescues her, and then this poor kid accidentally kills her.
Can I just say, I've
Why?
seen so many Siggy as Ethan's mate reels upcoming. Even like today, someone made one, and I was like, everyone thought it was such mate language, didn't you think?
It was totally mate language. That's why I'm
first half shenanigans.
But I'm so confused. Like, but like, why even waste our time? Like, those words could have been relegated to Rhysand or to something else. Yeah. To something else. And also, like, why do we keep on traumatizing Ethan? Like, fucking leave him alone.
But why are we making Siggy a second Ariadne? Like, I would even go as far as to say she was bitchier than Ariadne.
Siggy was awful. She's a terrible character.
She was an awful person. I was rooting for her.
I was rooting for her too.
You're this traumatized girl who was sold by her aunt, fucking Sabine. Fuck Sabine. Or sold by her dad, technically, but because of Sabine. To the fucking astronomer, stuck in a tank. The life nearly gets sucked out of you for we don't even know how many years she was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Decades, maybe. Ethan saves you because he feels bad for you. And you're just a fucking raging bitch to him.
She was awful.
Apparently she was kind of friendly with the sprites, and that's why they named her. The sprites named her.
Yeah.
And he was like, Sigrid, and she's like, don't call me that. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, why do I even have to have a name?
Yeah.
SJM. That was SJM yelling at us. Because
you know what?
We said so. That's why you need a name.
That's actually really funny that you say that because I had the same exact thought. I like was reading this and I was like, dude, SJM has had enough of our shit. She is done. She's done. And you want to know what? I think about that citrus tree in the reel.
Siggy is an SJM insert.
Yeah.
Like, she's just done with our shit.
She's done. She's so I was like, this whole book are these like these like subliminal messages that like SJM's like trying to send us. I personally believe that. Like, if you read this book and you do not take that away and you're like, I'm going to make more theories, blah, 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 I would be like, girl, read it again.
I'm still going to make more theories. I don't give a shit. Going back to our original conversation, Rhys wasn't in it. What does he know? Where did he get the pill? Shit.
I think we're thinking too hard. I think we're thinking too much into it. I mean, Rhys not being in it was a huge mistake. Unless she comes up with the tandem read, like you were saying. But even then, Rhys should have been the one that was interacting with Bryce. Nobody else but Rhys. I mean,
Nesta and Azriel, fine, but he should have been in the scenes with them.
Absolutely. He should have been in the scenes and present and
the High Lord can't get his hands dirty. He can't be in tunnels.
And here's what I don't like.
Licking the dirt off of him. He can't get dirty. God forbid there's lint on his jacket.
But that doesn't make sense because he's a High Lord for a reason. This is his job. This is his job.
I have been saying this since ACOFAF, dude.
But I don't understand it. Like, why would she do that
job? Yeah.
So I was
His
thinking,
job revolves around one city. He doesn't give a shit about where he originally came from. He doesn't give a shit about Illyria. Doesn't give a shit about Hewn City.
but it's weird, Melanie, because like, I just don't understand it. He's the most powerful High Lord, but I don't see him. I don't see him doing High Lord duties. And now we have this. It's the Death Pact with Feyre. Was he not there because of the Death Pact, which is horrendous?
I just can't.
I'm very confused. And then like in interviews, we were told that like we were gonna learn how like the worlds kind of worked and like how we were supposed to talk
Again,
about
Meryl.
Aelin and Meryl and Aelin. Not to change the topic of what we're talking about, but like there was no explanation of Aelin. It was not explained. There was no Nyx.
She
There was
promised. I was waiting to get a chapter with Rhys meeting with them and saying,
Yes.
look, I kind of kept this from you. Maybe Feyre fucking slapping the shit out of him for another fucking secret.
Well, I'm very, initially, I don't know how to word this. I am not the biggest Faizan fan, at all. I like Rhysand more than I like Feyre. However, I will say this. Since their disappearance in the books, I feel like, I don't know, like Silver Flames I thought was really well written until the end. But there's kind of just like something missing a little bit. You know what I mean? Like there's an absence there, of like character and plot.
The problem is that they are not ruling. They're just slumming in their mansion.
Yeah, they're focused around their family life, which is fine. However, there are times when you need to step up and do your job. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And can I just touch on ACOFAF for a second?
Yeah.
Going back to the beginning of the book.
Right.
That big Nesta reveal. How did you feel about that?
I'm confused, and this is another problem with this book, because I'm very confused by what is going on. Really.
Nesta, so we got the promo.
Like,
we got the promo from Bloomsbury, and that was that sentence, right? Where she raced back towards Azriel and Nesta because the Middengard worm. Hello, old friend. Middengard worm comes back into the picture. Runs after Bryce, or runs after one of them. I don't know. Bryce runs back towards them to see if there's anything left worth saving, as if the worm was going to eat both of them, but whatever. And we see Nesta, Nessie Nesta, the sneaky little bitch. I love her. No explanation, though, whether it was on purpose or not, but we have Nesta holding Ataraxia in one hand and flaming silver flames in the other hand. And that is the moment where we all collectively go, she didn't lose a drop of her power when bringing Feyre back. So the mother prevented all of it from leaving, or just gave it all back to her.
What makes you think all of it, though? What makes you think that was not the little remnant that she had left?
Because she was running toward the Middengard worm. If she didn't have that much left, I feel like she would have asked for help.
Yeah.
And like from her palm, she's like, oh yeah, I've actually been training my powers now. So she has them.
She has some of them. I interpret it as like she took a lot of her powers back, but she has like a little bit left, and that includes a little bit. That's how I viewed it. But
maybe
you could be right.
Took back her death power, but wasn't the death power connected to her silver flames?
I haven't finished Hog. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But again, that's just another thing that isn't explained. So if we had the whole reveal that the cauldron was tainted by the Asteri, so the mother still has partial reign over the cauldron. So it's partially good and it's partially tainted. So Nesta, having stolen something from it, I would assume she stole something bad. I would assume that it was Deanna's moonfire, which is the silver flames and the death powers.
Right.
Deanna was a bad god, right?
Okay. Right.
That's why the cauldron hated her. pretty much. But the cauldron loved Elaine. So, even though it loved Elaine, the cauldron is still tainted by the Asteri. So I feel like the maid powers that Nesta and Elaine got were the bad part, and their mate bonds were gifted by the mother.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
But you know
that the fucking Elriels are gonna come for this. Not even in terms of Nessian, but they're gonna come for this in terms of Elaine and Lucien. And I'm already mad because they're gonna go, if the Asteri tainted the cauldron and the cauldron gave her Lucien, it's not a real mate bond. But okay, the cauldron gifted Nesta Cassian. So you cannot say one without the other. It was the same water. They were both dunked. They were both changed and whatever. So you cannot pick one over the other. Come on. Either both of their mate bonds are bad and rotted and wrong, or both are from the mother's reign over the cauldron. Because we know she has partial reign over the cauldron because she prevented the powers from leaving Nesta.
Yeah. So. I like that. I know. I think so. Let's just take a moment to RIP a couple common theories that we saw on the internet. Let's RIP these so that we never have to be stressed about these again. First being, Bryce Reel's just not going to happen. I hate to bring that up to
throw it in their fucking faces.
Well, they were kind of a little.
They were aggressive. They deserve it. Next.
RIP that Nessie and it are not mates. We're gonna RIP that.
No. We got no indication. No.
RIP
on that one. No.
Bye, baby.
We got no indication that their mate ceremony happened. We only got the indication.
True. That's true, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but don't you think that's also weird that we don't see CC3? That CC3 didn't start with or that we weren't introduced to them at the end of their mating ceremony, or that she didn't drop in on the reception.
I will say, and I don't know if you saw this part or not. I don't know why I'm telling you, but I will say,
because you're my friends and you tell me these things,
that when Cassian is cameoed in the end and Bryce officially meets him, she does say that he smells like Nesta's partner.
Oh, I read that.
But she said partner. I don't know
if
that's the translation to mate. We don't know. Which again is, if it's partner, why is she again avoiding the word mate with Nessian? Because it's mate, Faizan, mate, Quinlan.
Did he have a ring on? Did it say? I didn't see the ring anywhere. I just saw the smell. Yeah.
No, you cannot RIP something that was not confirmed or denied.
Okay, fine. You know what? Can you label this episode RIP to the theories, please? RIP to the theories.
Brain cells.
RIP to our hopes and dreams for Crescent City 3.
I know. Okay, what other theory can we RIP? Let me think.
Well,
I don't know. There's a lot of them that were not confirmed nor denied that I will not cross off my list yet.
RIP. Okay, fine. RIP the evil Rhysand theory. RIP. RIP the Kings of Hell. Rhysand is the King of Hell. We have to RIP
Prince
it.
Of Hell.
Prince of Hell.
We don't.
We do.
We don't.
The way she wrote it, you cannot argue. And I know what happened. I told you, this whole book is subliminal messaging to her readers. She saw the evil Rhysand theory. Rhysand is her husband. She's deeply in love with her husband, which is fantastic. Based off her husband. And she was angry. And she's like, I don't like people thinking Reese is evil. I'm going to make him so good, his backstory, that they can't even say that about him.
No.
That's what it was.
You know that's why they have shadow powers, is because they were tainted by the Asteri.
I didn't read that anywhere.
Thea was Dusk. So Reese's original line was Dusk, which we found out, right?
Yeah.
He is part of Thea's line. He does not have
Lame. Which makes him and Bryce related, by the way.
Yes, but
somehow.
Okay. This is gonna get really complicated. So I'm gonna try my best. So Thea had dark hair, like Reese. The Dusk Court. Thea was the Dusk Court ruler, basically, right? Thea had dark hair. Now, the Night Court ruler was Theon. He was also the High King, but he originated from Night. Now, the Night Court original line were blondes, hence more being a part of the original Night Court line. Now, Thea married Theon. Dusk and Night got married. Then they got involved with the Asteri. And at first, you know, okay, power, this, that, the next thing. Theon got a little too involved with the Asteri. And this was about the same time that Thea was like, oh, they're actually not good. This is bad. You know, whatever. And then the Asteri tainted the cauldron, and then Theon helped them forge the weapons, the made, you know, creepy magic-sucking weapons with the cauldron. So the Dread Trove and the Star Sword and Truth Teller forged from the cauldron by Theon with the Asteri, with the help of the Asteri. So I'm pretty sure that Theon was also given some powers from the Asteri. It was kind of lost in translation, but
it's hard. It was hard. Yeah.
That's what I got from it. So, because it wasn't said what his original powers were.
No.
It was said that Thea had the light. So maybe Thea had the light, Theon had the shadows, right?
She had the light and the portal power.
Yeah. So Theon maybe had shadows again.
I think Theon had shadows.
Okay. So truth or whatever.
That's his thing,
I guess. But so they got together. They had Selene and Helena.
Mm-hmm.
Thea realized, oh my God, the Asteri are these awful parasites. What did we do? This is terrible. And this was after, you know, they trapped everyone in Prithian, basically. Behind the stone, trapped everyone in the prison. Fled to Midgard. So then she, I guess years go by because she was calling Theon like old. Selene was like, oh, my dad was like in old age by then. Like, and he's Fae, so old age is like pretty old by then. So Thea has Theon bound and gagged and dragged into a swamp, which is it the Bog of Orid?
Wait, did you say is it?
I said,
is it? It was totally the Bog of Orid, because remember when Nesta's swimming in it, there were multiple corpses, like, and she made a point to say like kings of old, because like there was like a crown on. I think that was Theon. I think that was him.
So she like drowned Theon. And at this point, like, she kind of...
Thea's awful, by the way.
I know.
Thea's
she kind of knew the Asteri was bad, but she didn't care because she wanted the power at that point. Because she was pissed that Theon wouldn't give her the Star Sword. Remember, he would never let her touch his weapons and all this. So she had him drowned, and she's like, now it's mine. Now it's mine. Now it's mine. Becomes whatever, queen or whatever. Convinces Peleus. Well, she had convinced Peleus to help her kill Theon. Which is weird, but okay.
I know, I was gonna say
this is the part of the story that everyone was confused about. How 1 minute she was friends with Peleus and the next minute he killed her. So what happened is she recruited Peleus to help kill Theon. I think probably basically promising him power, I would assume.
I think it was promising him her daughter. I thought that's what I was reading.
Oh yeah, Helena. So it was Thea that gave Helena to Peleus. Not Theon, right?
Thea is just plain old bad. Let's just be real.
She was. She tried to make
awful.
up for it. So that happened. And then, centuries, millennia, whatever goes by, somehow she traps an Asteri under the fucking prison / dust court. God only knows why. Still confused about that whole storyline. No idea. Hopefully the English version. I don't know who the fuck Vespers was and what the freaking point of her was at all.
Do you want to know something I've been thinking about all day?
What?
Okay, instead of introducing Vespers, you know who should have been in that sarcophagus?
Fucking Maeve!
No, fucking Thea. Thea
Herself!
Should have been preserved.
Which is another question. Where is she buried? Yes, Thea should have been there.
Thea should have been buried underneath there, and then she could have came back and been like kind of villainous because she was a villain.
Well, again, so that was the whole arc. So the whole Peleus thing happened, and then she realized that the Asteri were terrible. After God only knows how many years, realized they were awful, and then turned on them or tried to turn on them. Became like a rebel against them. Peleus was fully on their side because he wanted all the power now. Kind of like she did when she killed Fion. So then she needs help. So she's like, okay, who can I call for help? Maybe Hel. Asks, Adis and Apollyon and Thanatos and all of them to help. And that's basically what happens. She tries to recruit them to help kill all the Asteri. She turns over a new leaf. She tries to amend her wrongs. Doesn't really end up happening, but she sends her 2 daughters, basically she gives her daughters 2 parts of her starlight, each a part of her starlight, to get to wherever they want to go. And so, the part that was weird to me is they winnow, I guess, or
I know. I think they were winnowing. Yeah,
they winnowed to the mountain. I think that was another Fion thing. Winnowed to the mountain, and they open a portal to go to Midgard, right? And so Helena makes it through to Midgard, and Selene falls off the mountain, ultimately getting trapped in Prothean, which we now know. I couldn't understand the timeline of when Thea joined Helena in Midgard.
I couldn't. No, it was very difficult. It's very difficult to understand.
But eventually she does, and well, actually, they try to fight the Asteri in Prothean first, I guess, and then she somehow makes it to Midgard, or they fight the war. She's trying to get people out into Midgard, and Peleus kills her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was thinking Midgard was like a refuge for her people from Prothean.
Yeah. But see, again, the friggin' translation, it was so confusing because then, like, how did Peleus get to Midgard and follow Helena? And it was kind of confusing. But basically, Thea tried to correct her wrongs in the end. And she fell in love with Adis after Fion was dead.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what happened. My question to you too, okay, so I didn't understand the people that were trapped with the stone. So tell me what happened there. Like, she trapped humans behind the stone? What was that? What was going on there?
So she sent her daughters off. She sent her daughters off, and she was trying to get everybody from Prothean to Midgard to like leave the Asteri there, to like trap them there because she realized they were awful. But I guess to basically they were coming, basically. They were like on their way. They would have made it to the portal. But she could not, like, the humans and the kids and some of the Fae just didn't make it in time. And so she basically had to decide, do I keep this open and, risk an Asteri coming in, or do I close it on them and just let the Asteri eat them? And she closed it. And she closed it. And
It's a hard decision to make. That sucks.
yeah.
But she probably should let them through. That's pretty fucked up.
And it's like the Asteri clearly made it to Midgard anyway.
Yeah.
How? I don't know. Again, I don't know whether it was translation. I don't know. Yeah, that had to have been the Prithian to. That had to be the Prithian to Midgard. Whatever. Unless it was the Tog world.
I know.
I couldn't tell where they were.
I can't figure out.
It was supposed to be the Dusk. It was supposed to be the Dusk Court, like the prison. So I'm pretty sure it was Prithian.
It's Prithian and Midgard is what it sounded like when I was reading it.
The Asteri didn't eat everybody in Prithian because we have all the bloodlines in Prithian. And like she didn't realize that her daughter was trapped there. Like that's where the disconnect is. We're gonna have to read the English version and come back and be like, okay, this is what actually happened and this was the timeline. Because it was really hard.
It was that whole those couple of chapters, it was like hologram. What is going? The hologram was very weird.
To like connect the dots all over the place.
I know.
It's getting so confusing.
It's a cool story, and it like I like it. I like it. I just think the delivery could have been better. Apparently,
there had to have been a point where she betrayed one or both of the daughters, because remember Nesta was like, she's just like my mom. She's like, fucking mothers. And Bryce was like, yeah, I know. Which Bryce.
It's so funny to me that Bryce and Ember don't get along. It's basically because they're the same person.
No.
But the thing is, like, Bryce's mom, I don't understand why she doesn't like her.
I mean, she does. She literally said, like, my parents are the most important people in the world to me. That's why she gave them to Nesta during the war.
I know, but she treats her awfully.
She's just young. I mean, I'm one to talk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
we're one to talk about mothers.
It's funny because I relate to Nesta and I relate to Bryce, but in that sense, but in a couple senses, but
also I fucking love Ember too. I can see her side too.
Ember's so sassy. They're the same person. That's why they don't like each other. They're both so sassy and like stubborn. And
when Ember was like, I apologize for my daughter's rudeness.
Yeah.
She's like, gee, thanks. Like, I didn't need you to do that for me.
I know.
Like, Bryce and Nesta are the same person too. It's so funny.
In this book, Bryce and Nesta are the same person. I don't feel like Bryce was like that in the previous two books. A little bit, maybe not much. Bryce
I feel like she was just kind of dragged down by like the deaths of Danica and everything. But
yeah. I just feel like Bryce changed a lot, but it could be the mixed translation too. It could be.
But so the Connor scene almost made me tear up. The lion guy scene actually almost made me tear up. And the Ember and Nesta scene. That went hard. I'm not gonna
Wait, really? By the Ember? Okay, walk people through it. Oh
my God. When Bryce comes back to get her parents and they're having tea and they're all eating chocolate cake with Nesta and Cassian, which another nod to Aelin, just so you know.
Oh, does she like chocolate cake?
Oh, she's a huge chocolate cake fiend. Kale was like sneaking her chocolate cake from the castle, and like Doreen.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. So I was like, I see you, SJ, on the chocolate cake. You must also like chocolate cake. I'm a huge chocolate cake person.
I love chocolate cake.
I'm also a huge chocolate milk person.
I'm a huge chocolate person in general.
I know.
Give me something yeah.
So they're like having their tea and eating their chocolate cake, and like Bryson Hunt comes in, and Ember like looks up at them, and she's just like teary-eyed because she didn't know whether she was gonna live or die, basically. And there's a mixed translation in this scene that mentions Cassian holding a gun, which I thought was
I know.
hilarious. And I
Awesome.
kind of hope that they keep that in the English version. I hope it's not a mixed translation.
I hope it isn't
That would
either.
be funny. Because I could just see Randall trying to teach him how to shoot.
Oh, totally.
That
Totally. Because you know Randall
pass-
brought a gun with him. You
Oh,
know
he
he
did. He
did.
brought the rifle with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they're standing there, they get teary-eyed, and then there's this whole just scene after Ember's like, "Oh, I apologize for my daughter," and all this. And there's this whole scene with Ember and Nesta, and it's just so adorable. I don't want to say it's like self-healing, but it's just a very nice scene. I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. Not nostalgic. I don't know the right word for it. Very
I don't know what the word for it
I
would
know.
be either.
I don't know what the word for it would be. But basically she's talking to Nesta and Bryce is kind of watching. And then in the background, like Hunt and Cassian like give each other a fist bump. It's so weird because they've never met before, but whatever.
It's really
Fan
bizarre.
service. And Ember's like, out of everything that happened, like, I'm so glad I met you, Nesta. Like, I'm so glad. Like, I'm so glad I met you, or whatever. And it was really cute. And then she like hugs her, and Nesta starts to cry. And Bryce looks at them, and she's like, she could tell then that Nesta hadn't had a mother's hug in ages, or like a maternal touch in ages. And like, try never. Nesta's crying. It was so cute. It was so cute.
Bryce, it's funny, Bryce wasn't mad by that, like at all. She like was not upset by it.
No. It was one of my favorite scenes.
Was it really? Because when I was reading it, I was getting Vasa Papa Artrin vibes, like
Really?
Mirror, and I really
Maybe.
didn't like it. I didn't like it. I don't know. It was really weird to me. Like, why? Ember is like kind of
She's a
nicer
maternal
to.
figure. Nesta needs that. Nesta
But she was.
needs that.
Nesta needs it, but like Ember was nicer to Nesta than to her Bryce, to her own daughter.
No, they grew up together.
They fight like cats and dogs, and then she's over here like, Nesta, I'm so glad to meet you. Like, I was like, oh, that's
Okay,
kinda
but see, here's the thing. Ember was 18 when she had Bryce. They grew up together. This is almost 40-year-old Ember. They are two different people. My mother was 20 when she had me. I grew up with my mother. We do not get along. She has my siblings now in her 40s. Completely different person. I understand this. And I'm glad that SJM portrayed it correctly.
I enjoy hearing your perspective on it. I like that.
Because it's completely different when it's your own kid and you're 18 and you're trying to be an adult and you have a whole other person to take care of, on top of the whole Einar hunting her thing. Let's not forget. And then falling in love with Randall, and then being with Randall, and then everything with trying to hide Bryce's starlight, and trying to protect Bryce for her whole entire life. And so that's why she became so strict, because it became about trying to protect Bryce from Einar. And even still, she met Einar. And then, like, that's why her whole entire character is just her, like, oh my God, Bryce, oh my God, Bryce, oh my God, Bryce, like, protect this child from this awful father, which you thought was getting a redemption arc. And I told you that was not going to happen.
I'm really surprised by that. Actually, like I'm
actually
very
surprised, though.
Are you surprised?
I admit it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she listened to everyone's theories and did the opposite. I'm convinced, because everything led to him getting a redemption and like being the guy behind the scenes doing the research and the science and all that stuff.
The experiments was the thing that got me. I thought maybe he's playing both sides. Maybe he's truly morally gray. Maybe he doesn't know which side he's going to ultimately take, because you do have to remember that he was part of this patriarchy of power. All they wanted was power. All they needed was power. He wanted her to open a portal to make new worlds just for the Fae. Like, his whole role was power. But then, you know, with the prism and the experiments, I thought, maybe there's a part of him.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a part of him
Yeah.
that's like, maybe this isn't right. You know, maybe the Asteri really did fuck us all over and this isn't right. And I started to see that in that dining room scene. And I love how it's always dining room scenes, but in that dining room scene,
Yeah.
where they're having the conversation, and I forget exactly what it was about. I think it was about Ember, right?
Yeah.
Ember and Rune.
Yeah.
And they're having that conversation, and she's like, you know, we could be civil. We could have a civil relationship. We could talk like normal people if you were a decent fucking person. And then she like brought up Ember and all this or whatever. And he calls her Bryce for the first time ever.
See, that's what like breaks my heart. So it's so funny how you and I how our parental experiences have tainted our perception of this book. I don't know.
I know.
Because to me,
so then like I was like,
I understand Einar. I get Einar. Completely understand him. Like,
okay, but like Bryce bringing up like you literally smacked her around. Like, obviously she was gonna leave you. You were a piece of shit or whatever. And like, see, that's what got me, because it did feel like he was sorry for it.
He was absolutely sorry for it, and he slapped her once. I'm not saying that's okay.
I know.
I'm not saying that that's okay.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He only slapped her once, and can we just say that Rowan
has a scar though?
Yeah, Rowan punched Shaylin in the face.
I know. Hello.
Hello.
Our other video got cut off from last week. That was very abrupt, actually. We apologize.
It was abrupt. It was I had a rough night with my children and we had to cut it. Sorry, guys.
Back to Einar. I forget what we really already said.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about like our own parental weirdness, but anyways, back to his whole arc. I still think it was weird. Like, I was expecting it, but I also wasn't expecting it. Like, that's what I assumed would happen. And like, she never does what I think is gonna happen. So I was like,
What, you assumed that he was gonna actually just be a bad guy the entire time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to that extent, though. I did tell you that he wasn't gonna give a shit about Rune.
You did. And I was very upset by that. And I completely disagreed with you the entire time.
But Bryce, though.
I know.
They are no longer my children.
I know.
I see, I read that and I was like, okay, Rune, absolutely, he knows he's in the dungeons. He doesn't care. Bryce, is he putting on a little act about Bryce because they were like, well, you didn't strip her status as princess, right?
Right.
And he was like, I forget what he said, but then he was like, she's no longer in this world. And I thought he was like getting a little worried, but he was just being a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
He just wanted information.
So basically he just pretended to care about her until she could open the portals. Is that what it was?
He knew that was eventually going to happen.
And how did he know that?
All of his research. Well, no, that's what his research was. It was the prism. He wanted to mix the light with the darkness so she could open the portals. And he knew that by leaving it there, she was going to get nosy. She was going to do what he wanted. He did not bank on her locking him in his own dungeon. I thought that was lovely.
Oh, it was amazing.
She handed his ass to him. That was great.
I loved it, but I I'm just upset by the entire Einar Bryce storyline. To be honest, like you knew I wanted that redemption and that father-daughter relation. That really upset.
I actually thought you might have been a little right for a little bit. But only on the Bryce side. But see, the whole thing that was super weird to me was the time capsule of Rune when he used to live there as a teenager. Was that weird to you?
So I didn't understand. It was super weird, and I don't think I really understood what it was. What
it was Rune's so it was Rune's bedroom when he like lived with him as a teenager, or like a teenager whenever he took him from Lauren or whatever. And so like it was like he didn't touch it since he left. So it was still like all like the metal posters and all like the punk shit, you know, Rune. And like he just never touched it.
I know.
So weird. And she's like, well, you haven't touched Rune's room. He's like, I don't have to. I have enough rooms. But like,
see, that's why it's like weird to me.
Unless she's gonna pull, here we go with the wild theories again. But unless she's gonna pull a whole thing in CC4 where it comes out that the kings were actually infected by the Asteri, like all the leaders were infected by the Asteri, which are basically Valg, right?
Well, we still don't know. We don't have an answer. She never really said.
Yeah, species of Valg, maybe. Because I don't know, like even Morven was like that. And then the Underking we know was Valg now.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, was it just all the city heads that they were, because they were all bowing down to the Asteri?
Because when you think about it, it would make sense, right? It would make sense that they would infect, or they had to be doing something to their leaders.
The most.
I know, because you need someone to make these people comply.
Exactly.
So, but that's why I'm upset about CC3 is because it's like, why wouldn't it discuss that? Because
it doesn't discuss anything.
But you know what was weird to me too? Did you notice that Ember was kind of like a little shook by his death? Like, did you notice that? She was like, but Bryce didn't deliver the killing blow. It was Rune. And she just hadn't processed it yet. And I was like, that's weird to me. Was that weird to you, or was that like just weird to me?
See, that right there, I would have heavily preferred a Lauren scene like that about Einar rather than an Ember scene, because we already knew Ember hated him.
She did, but then she didn't. Like, yeah,
she did. She just didn't want to see her daughter as like her father's killer. You know?
You think that's what it was? You think that's how? Yeah.
Because like she's so still half face. She's still half of him.
But then she was like, he just looked like he barely got into his 30s. You know, like she was like reminiscing about that.
She was like, Rhysand can make Einar look like a child.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was really funny too.
But again, Rice never told her about the parasite, did she? I don't think she did.
No,
because it didn't matter for the humans because they don't have powers.
But that's the thing that was like, then now it's a whole other point. It's like Bryce didn't tell anybody anything. Bryce didn't tell anyone anything.
Pulling a fucking Aelin.
Yes. And then she just like goes off and lives, but like nobody knows their truth. And that's what's really annoying to me. No one knows the truth.
So it's like everyone, including the city heads, their magic was only at 50%.
Yeah.
Because basically the Asteri was stealing all of their power, aka First Light, from their elemental powers from the Tog world.
Yeah.
That's why like Ethan got snow and like Flynn and Sathia's earth magic was like suddenly like super amazing, and then Varian made Hypaxia's lab like the pipes blow up.
I love it.
None of them know how to deal with raw magic. And this goes back to that quote that I sent you from Tog when we were reading Tog, when Aelin said raw magic is so hard to control. She didn't know how she was going to control it. It runs wild.
Yep.
And like it's almost impossible. And
Yes.
yet the only person people will blame for magic being out of control is Tamlin.
Oh,
And they call
100%.
it anger.
I know.
So Aylin's was in anger with her fire. Rhys's was in anger blowing up windows with his darkness. But Tamlin's was anger because of his air?
It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Why does everyone simply target him? Aelin, by the way, as I'm reading, she's got a lot of flaws. Okay?
It was the time
The
capsule
leaders.
thing. It was
Yeah.
the time capsule thing.
Yeah. Which, it's like, why do you keep someone's room untouched? See, to me as a parent, like that just shows an emotional connection there.
But that's why he reminded me of the King of Adarlan.
I haven't gotten that far though, where I see what he does.
You know about his name, right? I told
No,
you about the name.
I think you sent it to me and I started to read and I was like, ooh, maybe I don't want to read this. And I like exited out of it.
Can I tell you?
I think I
It's
did
the
that.
Kingdom of Ash thing. You're not going to get there for a while.
I know. I'm like, but no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. But like, describe what you think happens with that, with Einar and Rune.
Like I said, I think he was not like, maybe not totally possessed. I think there was a part of him that was like the parent that cared. And I think there was a whole other part of him that was corrupted. And maybe he couldn't help it sometimes. It would have made more sense if the Asteri were using Valg demons of their creation.
But I almost
again,
wish
everyone is like, the Valg come from hell. The Valg come from hell. We don't get any indication that they come from hell. And it
No.
makes a lot more sense for the Asteri to have created them.
I
They
actually
eat
completely
magic.
agree.
They
But also
eat magic. They have host bodies.
they have host bodies, and each of the Asteri was a different body. It was a different like race. One
Yeah.
was like a wraith, and one
Yeah.
was it was
They
really
have host bodies.
And then did you read that sentence where it said like Lydia, I think, was walking down the hallway and there were statues of the
All the busts.
torsos
Yeah.
that they had been over the centuries? I was like, you elaborate on those busts, right? I was curious. I was curious because it's like, what if like one of those busts had been like the King of Adarlan? What if
Right.
fucking pissed?
Right.
I could have sworn she would have said in one of the busts and then described somebody.
Hello,
from Tom.
Erewhon.
Yes.
Also, okay, the thing that gets me is that she had so much potential if she was going to fucking hide a body under the dust court.
That is
So much potential, bro. Why this random ass? Why? It could have been Maeve. It could have been Erewhon. It could have been, I don't know, Clithia.
How about Thea?
Herself.
Thea. Turns out she was gaslighting everyone. She's not fucking dead, and she's really an evil person. I mean, I'm just so fucking pissed. That I am triggered, Melanie. I'm triggered. That body under the fucking dust court.
What was the point? Maybe the English version is going to be better. Someone said that she was friends with Thea, and then Thea realized how bad they were, and then she like turned against her. I don't know if that's true.
Do you know? I would have screamed. And I haven't finished Hog.
If it was fucking Maeve or
Maeve.
fucking, or even like Erewhon, because Erewhon, technically they like, I don't know, I
kill
think
him.
Green or no, Kaltain kills him. with her shadow fire, because again, fire and healing,
Yeah.
that was not explored here. But it could have been Maeve in another body.
You know what though?
Maeve made her fucking body like Amarin. You're telling me she couldn't make another one? You're telling me she couldn't jump?
This is good. This is where you and I need to just write our own book, because like that would be fucking cool.
I told you I started.
I still have to read your notes. I haven't had time to read them yet.
I'll read it to you. It's pretty quick. I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
But
like I feel like us back and forth, I don't know. This was just so disappointing. You're telling me you're introducing a brand new character who only lives for X amount of pages, and
like
we don't get. It was the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing.
And you're gonna have a Vesperus and a Hesperus, and they're not twins.
What is going on? What is going on, Melanie?
Out of all of those names, you're like, which one can I just double and change the first letter of?
Stop it. That's so weird to me.
Oh,
I read that and I was like, what?
I was under the impression that all of the Asteri were men. They're not.
No,
I thought Sirius was the only female one.
I thought Sirius. I knew Sirius was. No.
She is not. There's like 2 other females. Hesperus. Again, Hesperus, I think, is one of the females.
Yeah.
Hesperus and Vesperus literally could have been like the, what do you call it? The ancestor of Amarantha and Clythia.
So but I'm so disappointed. You know what? Here's the thing. It was good, but it missed the mark for great, and that is not typical of SJM. That's not her thing.
I know.
Had she done that?
Can I just say the 3? Well, yeah. Well, we complained about the other one, but the 2 bonus chapters that we have read this week, why were they not in the book?
Oh, that's you just you hit another nerve. You just hit a nerve.
They were fucking gold. Why should only certain people read these? These are the scenes that should have been in the book for everybody.
100%. I mean, they were better than some of the scenes that made it into the book. I'm sitting here, that Ember. Okay, for anyone who's
you know what this reminds me of, though?
What? I'm so upset.
It reminds me of Taylor Swift with her vault tracks.
What does that? I don't know. I'm not a Swiftie. Tell me what that means.
So when she got her masters, taken away from her, she got her rights taken away from her, and they sold it to other people. She decided to re-record all of her albums that were taken so she could own them again. And so when she had first recorded the albums, there were like extra songs that never made it on the album. So she called them vault tracks, and she added them to the re-recorded albums.
I love it.
And literally, some of them are so crazy good. They could have replaced songs that did make it onto the album.
Who decides?
We're like, Taylor, you hid this for a decade? This song was on the album and this song wasn't? What?
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy what people like.
Yes. And what makes it and what doesn't, and like what these creative people, like, if I could sit down with anyone, if you had one day to sit down with someone you loved, who would it be? I would be like, Sarah J. Maas.
Sarah J. Maas. I need to talk.
I want all of the versions of every version of ACOTAR and Tog. I want the original ACOTAR. I want the original Crescent City 3. I want all of that.
Literally, instead of doing what I would have done if I was her, and I would fight with the publisher about this.
Yeah.
If I had the rights as the author, I would have, not only would I have put all 5 bonus chapters in the book and just upcharged it, like $50 for a book. People are gonna fucking pay it. Right? It's Sarah J. Maas. People are gonna pay it.
I bought 3 or 4
all
copies
5
of
bonus chapters, they're gonna pay it.
Oh,
I would have
totally.
done that. And then if I wanted to do like a little money grab special edition thing, I could have been like, hey, so I realize that, I have a big fandom and maybe you guys want to see my creative process a little more. So I'm going to put out the first drafts, the rough drafts.
Yes.
Of the first versions of ACOMAF, ACOWAR, and Crescent City 3 as special editions or collector's editions for you guys to buy.
I would eat that shit up.
Rough draft, like not even edited.
No.
Could be a collector's edition, literally a collector's edition. Because who else, what other author could say, like, my rough drafts, people are buying as collector's editions? How fucking badass would that be?
It would be amazing. It would be amazing. And not only that, it would be like unheard of. No one's ever done it before. It would put her on the charts again. Not like she needs to be put on the charts again, but I mean, and also like give
Top
people,
tier.
yeah, like I just want to see like where is her mind? Where did it originally go? What was the original story? Like, what were you gonna do, Tamlin?
Even if it was awful, like I want to see how you got from that to this.
I totally
want
to
see it.
I want to see how you write a 200,000 word book and you're sitting there and it's edited and then like you're like, trash it. I'm going to write something brand new in 5 weeks.
Dude, it's taken me 2 fucking years to write 120,000 words. And I'm like, this is a trash fire. I hate it. But ain't no fucking way I'm trashing it.
I was going to say, throw it out.
Salvaging this shit.
She threw it out.
I'm editing the shit out of this.
But like,
crazy.
It's crazy. Like it's really weird. And then in 5 weeks, she says she shuts herself off to the world and writes a massive book.
Is she?
I don't know. And then
I'm actually, I think when I first get the book, I think I'm gonna go to like the copyright page first because I feel like there's tea there.
Tell me what you're.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think
you'll have to text me. Text me.
I think there's like, I don't know. I think she could have had a little help with this one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the scenes just don't seem like her.
So you do feel that way. I thought you had changed your opinion of that when you finished the book.
No, there are a lot of scenes that don't seem like her, but there's also a ton of scenes that are absolutely her. So like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if she had like a co-writer or I don't know.
I will say, I actually agree with you because there's something just a little.
It was it was the escape scene. That's what did it for me.
Yeah. The driving.
That is not, and I think we already filmed this the last time, if I'm not mistaken, but just to recap, like that was not the person that wrote the Hybern escape scene. Azriel gushing blood from his wings as he tries to flap with Elaine and Briar, and he's trying to open the wards with his siphons, and he's panting and bloody. And then you have the fucking hellhounds howling in the background, and Tamlin taking on dozens of them.
Oh, I know.
Feyre just in a full panic, like trying to flap her wings, and then Azriel screaming like, pull up, and like Tamlin like taking another one for the team, throwing them his wind power, like that is not the person that wrote Lydia fucking getaway car jeeping this shit with guns blazing.
I gotta
I can't connect the two. I don't understand.
That was such a great example that do you know that scene, the Highburn getaway scene, is actually one of my
favorite scene.
It's one of my favorite parts in all of the books.
I think I've reread that scene like so many times. Well, because like Briar is one of my favorite characters.
I know.
And people think I'm psycho because they're like, she's like a 2-second character. There's a lot there, okay? Sathya was a 2-second character, so fuck y'all.
But that's okay.
I also want to say though, how come, now that I think of it, how come none of the ACOTAR books had bonus chapters except for Silver Flames?
I know.
And if they did, why are they not released as well?
I know.
I want those two. What did you take out?
I want all of
the
it.
tea.
I want all the tea. Do you know I can't get over that scene, and like I cried. I just go back to it. Cried when like Feyre was like, and someone
like Feyre, and I was like, no, you're gonna get mauled to death.
But I even was crying because she's like, there was someone like running beside me, and she was like, she could tell he couldn't see where Tamlin couldn't see where Feyre was, but he was like running beside them in his beast form, and I was just like, I was screaming when I was reading it. I was like,
Azriel in the shadows with Elaine, and then Tamlin running beside.
It was so fucking good. So
can I just say,
make it make sense.
So mad she never actually thanked him for that.
Oh, furious. It gets me every time.
Well, you deserve happiness too.
I hope you could find happiness too. Yeah. So I just want to say, and it's my gripe for Feyre, and it's never going to change. And it upsets me because Feyre was my favorite, and I've told you guys that. She was my favorite. All you have, just go to his face. Tamlin saved his life.
She still won't talk to him face to face.
Won't talk to him.
It's ridiculous. It's literally, it's Morin Eris. What is gonna happen? 500 years is gonna go by and you're still gonna hate him?
I don't think
stupid shit.
I honestly think, Melanie, after reading Crescent City 3, which surprised me in so many ways that I didn't think I was going to be surprised. I don't think Tamlin's getting a redemption.
I do.
I don't.
I'm
really surprised you say that.
I do.
And our Lauren theory,
dude, she redeemed the fucking River Queen. You think she's not gonna redeem Tamlin?
No.
I hated that bitch.
I hate the River Queen.
Nobody. And she was being a secret rebel, so she had to keep on the evil mask or the bad mask. Like, she's the reason Tharion did a blood oath to the Viper Queen, because she pulled a Baron and was like, there's a bounty on your head, I'm gonna fucking kill you. You make her a rebel? What? The daughter is still a bitch, though. The daughter is the bitch.
Is she the bitch?
She is the bitch.
What makes you say that? Because I didn't read that.
And her mom knows she's a bitch. She actually was kind of proud of Tharion for marrying Sathya. She was proud of him for marrying Sathya.
The River Queen? Yeah.
She was like, you're a good male. You saw a female in need and you stepped up to the plate. And then, of course, the daughter was like, are you kidding me?
I mean, but I would kind of be hurt because it's like, oh, we were engaged. And then
they were teenagers. You fucked once. And you're making his life miserable for like hundreds of years. Come on.
I mean, he broke her heart. You know, it's not right. It's not right. She needs to get over it.
She's literally in love with her guard. She doesn't even love him.
I know.
She's just petty.
I know. She's super petty. Petty.
She's
Petty.
Farrah.
She's
She is
petty.
Barry and Farrah.
Ew, a T. She's petty. And you want to know what? You know how I feel about Farrah.
Also, can I just say really quick?
Yeah.
The River Queen's daughter. What is her name?
Oh, don't get me started on the no
Again.
names. Listen to me. You do not bring that up right now because you know how we all feel about that. We were so
Okay, so I get like the head of whatever. Einar had a name, Morven had a name. They were the two big kings. Whatever. The Ocean Queen, the River Queen, the River Queen's daughter, the Viper Queen. So the males get names and the females don't.
Okay,
going on?
it makes no sense, right?
I'm shocked that she even named Rune's mom. It wasn't just like Rune's mom.
Oh my god, you're gonna bring this up right now because you know I'm just fucking raging over that.
But going back, okay, I'll change. Going back to
we can talk about it.
Going back to the fact that Ember was weird about Einar's death, and how I think that scene should have gone to Lauren. I think it definitely should have gone to Lauren. But that's why says, I'm going to have to go tell my mother that he's dead. She's the only person that's going to mourn him. And I don't think she would have, actually. I know it's big of me to say that, but
why do you think why?
I think she's a little sneaky sneak still. We got nothing from her, but I still think she's not, even if she's not what we thought, I still don't think she is what she is. Like, I don't think she's that, like, subservient into him, whatever.
Yeah. Well, you would think that after X amount of years of him never coming to see her again, you would start to be like, you're really a terrible person.
I have to say, though, I was so convinced that Sathya was Rune's sister. I was so convinced of that.
I know.
When you go over all the details, the way that I swear to God, SJM had to have seen that. I put it,
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I put it like on Reddit. It's like the first thing that comes up when you put Sathya now.
Is it? So that's what I'm saying, because I'm convinced she has done her research and read everybody's theories, because the fact that she addressed with the hair dye exactly
that
what
was the thing. That was the thing. I was just gonna say that I sent you that, and I go, she did this on purpose. She did it on purpose. The raven black hair. When I was like, how the fuck does she have black hair? I was going on and on and on and on and on about the black hair and the sapphire studs and the fact that she wanted to talk to Cormac. And I was like, it's the black hair. It's the black hair. It's the black hair. And then Flynn was like, oh, from her light brown hair now. But then again, Sathya had a penchant for hair dye, which ranged from the darkest black to the platinum blonde. And I was like, you bitch.
You cannot tell me she did not see that. You can't.
And I don't know whether to be like secretly proud or like, fuck, she could have gone this amazing route and didn't.
I think you and I need to start thinking about the second half of it, because this whole book was like, I feel like
fucking hair. You're gonna add the fucking hair dye
over,
and you're not gonna explain anything
else. That's what I'm saying. It's honestly too weird, Melanie. It's honestly too weird.
I don't understand.
Because every theory
I keep
is the opposite.
Every other day I keep adding to my questions list. I have like a whole page.
I'm working on mine too. I don't have as many as you yet, but
I already said this on my Instagram. So if you guys follow my Instagram, I said that I wanted to do like a fandoms version of HOFAS. So again, mirroring Taylor Swift here, like House of Flame and Shadow, fandom's version instead of Taylor's version.
I love it. I love it.
And like I want to take like the most popular theories or like our theories and stuff and like take the document that I have of HOFAS and keep the good scenes that I liked, we liked, whatever.
And there were good scenes.
Yeah.
There were some.
Like keep the format, everything like that, but like add chapters and then like make the war bigger and put like that scene with all of the dead people in it, or like have Aelin be explained. Like I want to add all the stuff that we wanted to see. And I shit you not, the other night when I fell asleep on you, I woke up in the middle of the night after I went back to bed, after I was like, oh shit, she's asleep. I went back to bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to write this because it was just in my head. I was like thinking of it as I was falling asleep and I go, fuck. Every time I say, I'm not going to remember, I can write it down in the morning. I always forget. I'm like, fuck, I need to wake up and write this down.
Yeah.
So I had like, I don't know, 10 to 15 lines of it. And then I went back to sleep. And then I've been adding to it the last couple days. And so I have a little decent scene here if you want to hear it.
Yeah. Read it. Is this the what you sent me earlier and I haven't had time to read it yet?
I sent you like a couple snippets of it. So it is definitely so I am gonna put the Lauren theory in the fandom version of HOFAS.
Thank you.
With Tamlin and everything.
Thank you.
With Tamlin and everything. And so this is actually the scene where between the Avalon stuff and the next time we see Rune, where he actually goes and tells his mother that Einar is dead and stuff transpires. So
I love it.
I do not have the best reading voice and I stumble over my words because whatever. But anyways,
no.
I like hanging my voice. I sent someone a voice note the other day and they were like, oh my God, you have like the best audiobook radio voice I've ever heard. I'm like, what?
I told you. I told you.
What?
I agree. Like even just when you talk on the
I get too
podcast.
excited.
No, the way you describe things, it's so entertaining to listen to it. Like I sit here and when you're like recounting scenes, I'm like thoroughly enjoying listening to you do it.
When I get
just
excited, I repeat myself a lot though.
But I love it. And I mean it, like you need to publish your book. You should go into like voice acting or narrating. That's my personal opinion, but
I stumble over my words way too much for that.
no, I don't think you do. I stumble way more. I think you could totally do it. You should do it.
Watch, now I'm gonna stumble 500 times when I read.
Sorry. I jinxed you.
That tongue syndrome. Anyways, and I thought I was being clever here because the first line was Rune knew one fact with absolute certainty.
I know.
I did it.
Sorry, I jinxed you.
Now I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. I want to hear it. You do so well. Just act like you know.
Yeah. Rune knew one fact with absolute certainty. The only person who could ever possibly mourn his father was his mother. And that is why he now finds himself standing in front of the entrance to her villa instead of continuing to let worry over Bryce muddle his mind. Taking a deep breath, he makes his way in. She's in the kitchen preparing herself lunch. As if she could sense him before both feet were across the threshold, the knife on her sandwich stills. Would you like one too? If she is anything, she's intuitive. The hunger in his gut lurches a bit and he nods before remembering she is preoccupied. Yes, please. Thanks. What brings you by today? She asks, the floral ankle-length dress swishing with her steps to and from the fridge. For a moment, he can't for the life of him even begin to express this news to her. A part of him knows she isn't fragile, but... Rune, he blinks, leaning on the archway to the kitchen, meeting her twin blue gaze. Mother, we should sit. A shadow crosses her features, but she nods, handing him his plate and sitting at the table, the sunny window warming her back. He sits across from her almost timidly, seeming too large for her dainty kitchen. Lauren looks at him expectantly. Right, he swallows. Well, there's no easy way to tell you this, so I suppose I should just come out and say it. Please do. He holds her gaze for a silent moment. The Autumn King is dead. She barely flinches, but she doesn't cry either. He isn't quite sure what to make of that. She looks over him slowly before her fingers clamp onto the side of her plate as if stilling a small tremor. By your hand? He blinks, once, twice, ice running through his veins as panic strikes him. Gods, what will she ever think of him? Honestly, honesty. Despite everything else, he should be honest. Yes. For good reason? Yes. Lauren seems to suppress the makings of a smile before laying her hand over his. I believe you. Her words seem to loosen his muscles, taking comfort in the fact that she does not see him as a monster. Still, he feels the need to explain it. He and Bryce got into it. It was bad. He tried to kill her. I stopped him. She certainly didn't need to know that he had also beheaded the bastard and held his head up like a trophy. You are a good brother, she whispers, that small yet haunted smile making an appearance on her young-looking face. I am proud of you for protecting her, Rune. He can feel the tears pricking his eyes, but wills them away. I've let her down in the past. I wasn't going to let him, of all people, take her away from this world. I'm glad that she was born. I think she will do great things. I'm sure she will. She squeezes his hand before eating her sandwich, her eyes fixed upon his other now, the one with the very pale skin and faded tattoos, the one that recently had grown back. He digs into his own sandwich then, no questions about when he would be king, though. Good, he doesn't feel like explaining this entire Asteri situation. He could very well give her an aneurysm. They talk lightly about her garden and how things are functioning well enough in the home before she clears their dishes. He goes to play with his lip ring anxiously before realizing again that it isn't there. I am sorry, he says in her mind, taking the chance. She freezes but doesn't shout the way that she had when he was little. To his utter shock, he hears a mental note back. I am not. His lips part and his brow furrows as he stares at the back of her head. Mother. I hope that soon I can explain everything to you. It was never safe before for you to know. To know what? He asks. His mind is going a million miles a minute, trying to piece together things that aren't there. That you were also a mind speaker? I wouldn't have told... ... I know, but you would have been too tempted to use it as a crutch, especially as a child. I didn't want you to not be able to be social. Plus, there are tells when people do so. Facial expressions say much more than words sometimes. You freaked out when I was 5. You yelled at me. To keep you safe, Rune. She finally turns to him and gently cups his cheek. To try, as much as I could. Everything I did was to keep you safe. And I know that you have been hurt. I'm fine, Mom. She grabs his forearm and lifts it, motioning to his hand. You're going to tell me this isn't a new hand? He didn't do that, but yes, it is. And all your tattoos? Rune clenches his jaw, willing away the painful memories. I wanted you to have a good life, a comfortable life. I didn't think or know that he... How could you have? He interrupts, slowly embracing her. She hugs him tightly, tears finally making their way to line her eyes. I'm glad that you're mine, Rune. I'm so proud of the male you have become. I need you to know that. It was you who made you who you are, not me, and certainly not Einar. You stayed true to your heart because of you. He looks down at her sheepishly, and shrugs. I had the motivation of knowing that my friends would never forgive me if I died, he jokes, his mouth quirking to the side. Don't joke about that, she grumbles. Are you going to elaborate on how you lost your hand? Rune visibly cringes and meets her gaze. You really don't want to know, Mom. It will only upset you. Contrary to popular belief, I am not fragile as glass. I've been through more than you could imagine, and much more than you know. Well, perhaps when you elaborate, I will, he challenges, holding her stare for a moment. Lauren sighs and shakes her head. When the time comes, I have no way of rectifying it at the moment, so until there is a way. A way to what? He presses. Taking a breath, she levels a look at him. Bryce's star, is it passed down through her lineage, correct? The same starlight that you possess a seed of. His brow furrows and he crosses his arms. Yes, why? You had to save her because Einar was upset. Care to tell me why he was so enraged with her? I don't want to put you in danger. I've been in danger before, Rune. What? Tell me why the Autumn King was so upset with Bryce. He rubs his face, then runs a hand over the long side of his hair. Gods, I don't even know where to start. Mom, I backed her up when she became queen of both Valbara and Avalon. They're both dead. Morven too. Queen. Yes, so you will not be king and never wanted to be. I'm sorry that what you went through in conceiving me was for nothing. Rune, she says, her expression softening. You will never be nothing. You mean so much more to me than you could ever know. I have never once regretted you. Not once. Got it? He nods slowly. You aren't disappointed that I'm a nobody? You are my son. That's somebody. A soft blush tints his tanned cheeks, and he shakes his head shyly. Well, thanks. I'm glad you're not mad. I wanted you to have a good life. That's all I ever wanted for you. That was always my goal. Title or no title. You are the same amazing male, and I am sorry. I'm sorry for not being the kind of mother you needed, for not protecting you from him the way Ember did for Bryce, for being so complacent. I had reasons, but I don't know if they could ever justify it. The situation was much more complicated than anyone knows, and perhaps I shouldn't have kept that to myself for so long. You're talking in riddles, Mom. Plus, I forgave you a long time ago. He had the power to take away your comfort, your home, to prevent me from seeing you if he wanted. I think we all play the game and wear a mask sometimes. More often than not, once it's on for so long, it gets harder to take it off, to remember who you really are. So you can be hardened in the face of danger and adversity, or accepting of some bad fate that Erd has dealt to you. She paces a bit and takes a breath, her long raven black hair swaying slightly behind her. Bryce's starlight. Your starlight. That's what Einar wanted. I knew why he did, but you weren't chosen for the task. Bryce was. What did he want? Rune asks, apprehension in his voice. Lauren turns to him and sighs. Twilight. Rune blinked. Twilight. Dusk. Dusk's truth. It is an Asteri project. I know, one that had pushed Bryce from our world. She world walked, Mom. Lauren stiffens and her breathing quickens. She did, already. Wait, you knew? You knew he wanted her to open portals to a new world to make them for the Fae only? What? No, I did not know that part. I knew there was a possibility that starlight like this could open portals, but Einar did too. He was obsessed with seeing his relatives from the previous world, seeing what type of magic they had, what kind of power. But how did you know all of this? She looks out to her garden, a faraway look in her eye as she sighs. It's a very messy and convoluted story, Rune, and not a pleasant one. That's as far as I've gotten.
I love it. How many words is that?
I have no idea. It's in my notes app.
It was really good. That was very, very, very good. I loved it.
She's sus as fuck.
But that's what we were missing. That's what's weird too about that CC3. He like has this whole wedding and she's like not even there. It's weird.
She's gonna be there.
Well, I love what you wrote. I think that's really, really good.
Like,
are you adding that to the Akala one, or are you gonna make that a separate project?
No. Akala is just the ACOTAR continuation of Crescent City.
Yeah.
This is going to be like the fandom
completely
version of HOFAS.
Yeah.
It was 1,660 words.
That was really good. And how long did you write that in?
How long? Over the course of a couple days.
It was really good.
I wrote like half of it during my class today.
I was
like, I'm so bored. I want to write something. And I didn't have my computer, obviously, so.
I love how you write these like really well thought out scenes. I'll have to send you what I wrote the other day. It's like really, really dark.
With who?
What? With who?
Yeah, which characters?
No, this is like.
Oh, your own.
It is all right, I'll tell you real quick and that's it. It's gonna be a villain origin story. And I want you to read it.
Love them villains.
I know. I love your writing. I'm always like so in awe of it. Like so good.
I literally have the most crushing imposter syndrome. You have no idea.
I believe it because I have had imposter syndrome before. So,
but see, the thing is, I'm way better at dialogue than I am at like descriptive stuff.
Yeah, like world building.
The way that SJM can like have someone like walk into a room, like the way that like when Bryce fell and they took her to the manor and she was like, the library and the color scheme looked like Jessica's study, and but like I can't do that shit.
I know. No,
I have the hardest time describing stuff. And when I tell you I have maybe 2 chapters of Acola where I was on my shit and I did such good descriptive scenes. And one of them is the Ninsar ball, which was a couple chapters ago. And I described like the phthalites twinkling through the branches of ivy or whatever. And I was so proud of myself.
It was beautiful.
I was on my shit today.
But also, what's really interesting to me is like the imagination that you and like Sarah obviously have. Like, you can visualize a whole room or like a whole house and like all the way down to the decor, and it's really impressive.
Like, literally all I see in my head. Like when I did the scenes where Briar was in, or Lucian and Briar and Elaine were in like the day court, like I can see the inside of Helian's fucking palace. Like,
Really?
it's just this huge open marble room with like white panels like lined with gold and like the marble flooring and like these giant white couches with like these floor to ceiling windows on one wall just going out to the gigantic balcony. And like I can see like down the hall and like where his study is, what his study looks like. But I can't for the life of me take it from my brain and fucking describe it. I was just like, the marble room with gold lining. Like,
but it's tedious, like to sit and describe a room. When you think about it, that should be just like a whole class in of itself in writing.
I know.
Like sitting there and describing the room you're in.
I know.
We should do like exercises, you and me, like of that, like and then just like read each other's work or something.
I know. I definitely have to.
I know. Like, it's really, and that's what's so great is like when you get to see it play out, like especially for Sarah, like she's really good about that, and it's very impressive, you know. So that's
like the one thing I'm like, I wish I was better at that.
You just gotta keep practicing it. Like you just gotta keep like writing it.
Because so many people have told me like, dialogue is so hard. I'm like, how? Like they just talk.
Yeah.
How is dialogue hard? How is talking hard?
Well, like, to me,
like, I don't know if you've read Elise's Lucian and Elaine fic.
No, I have not.
And I tell her all the time, and she gets so upset with me because I'm like, I can never write the way that you write. She's like, shut up. Because she has the most gorgeous fucking descriptions of everything in every scene.
Really?
I'm so jealous of you, Elise. All the time. Every time.
Why is she not? She needs to be more like, why is she not write more? Why is she not get published?
But she does, but she doesn't like post it a lot.
Yeah.
Like she has the fic, but like she'll work on a couple chapters and then I think she'll post it. I'm like, her descriptions are impeccable. Like she has this whole scene where Elaine has like this nightmare and like she's in like this whirlwind of like thorns and vines and they're creeping all inside the room and like crazy, wild, amazing descriptions of everything. And I'm jealous all the time. I'm like, I can't do that.
Work on it, girl. Or like talk to Elise. I wonder if Elise has any pointers for you.
I know. It's like hard though, because when stuff comes naturally to you, it's also hard to describe how to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's difficult. Where was it? Oh, someone brought this up in the group and they wanted to ask, not us in particular, but it was one of the questions that came up the most actually in the group and on the Discord. I don't know if you saw it. No. So Hypaxia, I love her. She's so underrated.
Very underrated.
So underrated.
Very
Nobody
underrated.
cares about her. I'm like, I love her.
She's really a cool character when you think about, but like she's not even touched on that much of the-
I shit you not, I saw like 10 different people be like, oh, Hypaxia is going to die and Lydia is going to be the Witch Queen. Because Hypaxia mentions in CC2, Rune was like, but you're like the last of your line. She's like, I have a sister. And because she was talking about Lydia. And so everyone's like, so that's foreshadowing that she's going to die and Lydia's going to take over. And I was like,
See, this is where I think some of our problems are coming from as a fandom, but gone.
Sarah basically retconned the breadcrumbs that she put in. Except for with Cassian, but that will be a little later. Basically, the question was, who were Hypaxia's ghostly trainers for necromancy?
Would love that answer.
And like, what was the situation with that? Because she mentions that, is it what the fuck is her name? Morgana or...
Oh, I don't know.
The witch that got her thrown out of the coven of being queen.
Oh, I do not remember that name. No.
Begins with an M, I think. It definitely begins with an M.
I take your word.
Yeah,
for
the
it.
bitch that she talked about in CC2. They got her they literally like tried to kill her.
Yeah.
And was like, you're not our queen, tried to kill her, whatever. And then cut off her communication with her advisors, trainers, whatever that she really cared about. So I'm like, that's just another thing. Like, who are they?
Yeah.
Were they Tog characters in spirit form?
I honestly thought one was going to be
Is
Nehemia.
it Manon?
Yeah. Or Nehemia.
Or Nehemia. Or Asterin. Or... But who else is necromancy is the thing. Because she said what? There was 5 women.
It was a bunch of women.
It's like 5 women. Odd.
It was odd. It was very odd.
More questions, Sarah.
Okay, that was a really good question. I think I was thinking about that the other day when I was laying in bed. I was like, we never found out even who her tutors were, even who they were. My other question was, the Asteri brought up like that foolish princess.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was Celine.
It was Celine. So it was confirmed that she was foolish.
Well, because Celine
didn't
fucking tricked Vesperus into her glass Sleeping Beauty coffin for fucking 15,000 years. Which, how did she do that? I don't know.
We don't know.
Do we not know? Was it lost in translation?
Who knows?
Yes.
And also, it wasn't touched on like, oh, I hear them through the stone. I hear like Elaine.
The fucking seer. Where was she?
What were you hearing Vesperus the whole time, Elaine? Is that the whole thing? Is that what's whispering in the stone to
No,
everybody?
I think it was the people that Nesta heard when she touched the harp, because we know that all the made people can now wield the trove. Nesta's the only one who can wield them all at once.
Yeah.
But anyone who's made can wield each individual. So Nesta wielded the mask the most. So Nesta wielded the mask the most in this book, the harp the most in ACOFAF. Someone has to wear that crown. And I'm still hoping that my Lucian and Elaine as High King and High Queen are going to come through. But
I know.
I think Elaine's going to have to wear that crown.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Unless they make Nesta also wear the crown, like all 3 at different points and all 3 at the same time, but crown.
I know.
I mean, actually, to be fair, remember her like nightmare dream hallucination, whatever thing with Lanthus? How she was his queen.
Wearing the crown.
His queen on a throne wearing the crown. And at the end of HOFAS, when Bryce sees Nesta again and she gives her Gwydion and Truth Teller, and she says, "The mother gave you the 8-pointed star for a reason. I believe these are yours." Nesta is going to be like High Lady of Dusk, at least.
It was,
unless she retcons it again. But why would she make Bryce give her the sword and Truth Teller back? I get, but Gwydion too? I mean, it served its purpose, but it still has that power in it. And she has Ataraxia, and she has Eris's dagger, and she has the other huge sword that Amryn said someone has to use to be High King. And it cannot be Rhys, or I will burn these fucking books. Here's my problem, though.
It's not going to be, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think. I'm confused. I'm very confused as to where she's going with any of her series, because
nobody even knows anymore.
No, you can't possibly guess, because, and I think that's why she did it, because she's making Nesta more important than Feyre, more powerful than Feyre in almost every way.
Do you know I got so much fucking shit for saying Nesta was more powerful than Rhys?
I think that they're,
because she was.
I think that,
and we don't know. We don't even know
maybe
that the mother allowed any of her powers to leave, because she had a lot of power in this book.
But that's the
argument again. It's not described. We don't know if she lost any. If she lost a little, we don't know.
But that's my problem with the writing, because, and this is why I think that there might be like an extra person that's helping her write, because at the end of Silver Flames, like, it was very distinctly said that like some of her power, not all of it, some of it was taken away, and then we're here and like, unless this is just the little bit of power that she kept, I don't know.
That was not even a little. That was a lot.
No, it's a lot of power. I know. So that's problematic to me. The Cassian Nest thing is incredibly problematic to me. She can't possibly stay in the Night Court. And after everything,
she's not. She's the High Lady of Dusk now. I'm telling you.
Like,
bye, Cassie.
So how is this going to play out, though? That's what I don't understand.
I told you from the very beginning how this was going to play out. I did not say Dusk for Nesta, I admit. I said that she was going to end up in Autumn with Eris. That was the only thing. But I told you, 3 sisters, 3 courts, 3 of the most powerful courts. It's going to be night, dusk, and day. The 3 solar courts for the 3 sisters. I'm telling you, I think Helian's gonna die now.
He's totally gonna die. I knew Helian was gonna die back in ACOFAFers. Everyone fought me over that. He's dead. Lady A's dead. Helian,
High Lord and High Lady Elaine for day. High Lady Nesta for dusk. High Lady Feyre for night.
The only Cassian's
gonna die in the Koshi War. That's what I told you. That is fucking why she is making him less likable.
I'm really upset.
I felt so fucking validated. You have no idea.
Did you read it? And were you like, Miriam and Olivia are going to be so upset?
I was like, validation. I go, she is purposely making him less likable, so there are less riots when he dies. And I did tell you that there was a possibility that it wasn't going to be HOFAS that he died in. I said maybe the ACOTAR book.
Oh, you just recently started saying that.
No, I said that like a good chunk of episodes ago. You can go back and watch. I have the receipts, ma'am.
So here's my thing about that. So like, okay, I'm so stuck on the phrase when Nesta's like, Cassian is even more mad at me than Rhys is. And can you just break that down for me? Because I don't understand it. I just am not understanding like how Cassian's more pissed at Nesta. than Reese.
I
What is
always said, okay, so it could be one of two things.
Yeah.
Or three things, basically.
Three.
It could be what I said, that she's just purposely making him less likable because she's going to kill him off, which is what I believe. Or, which I really don't want to say because I don't want to start the fucking El Real bullshit, but she could be going with the whole, the cauldron tainted their mate bonds thing. I don't want to say that. But seeing as how the cauldron hated Nesta and loved Elaine, you would think it would give her the wrong mate bond to fuck her over. Just gonna put that there. And the other reason could have been just to prove that Cassian's always gonna choose Reese over everybody.
Then he shouldn't have a mate.
No shit. Did I not tell you that they are not equal, that he will never respect her, even the way, like, I don't think Reese respects Feyre, but I think he's very feral and protective of Feyre in his own way when he thinks she's being threatened by other people.
Mm-hmm.
You get none of that with Cassian. He literally could not give two shits about his own mate.
But that's what I know.
Even in ACOFAFers, and the way that you guys fought me so hard on this in ACOFAFers, I will accept apologies now. Because I told you, he cannot feel her the way that even Lucian can feel Elaine, even Reese can feel Feyre. Or he just doesn't care. But if you were a true mate, you would care. Again,
it's bad.
Elaine is not ready to confront her mate bond. We know this. Even still, the way that Lucian went running from the shore, cutting down enemies with his sword, covered, speckled in blood, to get to Elaine because he felt her distress over her father's death. Huffing and puffing, just to ask her if she was okay.
See, it's funny because I didn't get that when I read that scene. So initially, I have to go back and reread it.
We already did on the air.
I need to
you read it on the air. And like, dude, and then the mirror to that would technically be Reese showing up to the wedding when she's like, "Please, someone help me, help me, help me, help me."
Okay, wait. So
what is that scene for Nessian? We don't have one.
We need to break this down because
it's always Nesta protecting Cassian and never the other way around.
Okay, so let's talk about the mate bonds real quick. So Faizan, they're mates, obviously. They had nothing to do with the cauldron. Okay. So that we know of.
So the thing is that, I mean, it wasn't the cauldron. It was the High Lord's powers that brought her back. And I'm pretty sure the magic is gifted by the cauldron. Their magic is gifted by the cauldron. So she is considered made like them. She could wield the trove, not all at once, but yeah. Because remember, Amryn said, "You're different like me, you're made." And then Hybern wanted her for being made. So they are all made, but differently. She's differently made than...
Because I was going to say their mating bond might still be intact because they had nothing to do with the cauldron, but she is made, you're right.
But can I also point out something that I'm going to get so much hate for, but I kind of pointed this out before and people just ignore it. Not just the fact that Reese is a Daemati, or the fact that, again, he says in ACOFAS, "Well, I could pull those threads," or whatever the hell he says. But the fact that we don't. People are gonna hate me so much right now.
Don't say it then. Don't say it.
No,
Don't
I'm gonna say
Text
it.
to me.
We
Don't do it.
We don't actually know if it's an actual bond with Phase Ant.
With Phase Ant.
Because all of it just involves the mind stuff. There's never a scene where they allude to their bond and it's not some kind of Daemati magic.
Well, it's interesting because
Except for when he brought her back from death under the mountain and she felt that tether. But I don't know, because I feel like the timing was really off. It could have just been the writing, but I feel like the timing was really off.
Under the mountain.
Because Amarantha kills Feyre, right? And she's struggling and she's trying to come back, and then she feels this tether. But Rhys only had his Daemati magic at that point. He didn't get all of his powers back. Like, he didn't get his full magic back until Tamlin killed Amarantha, like everybody else. The only people who had their full magic back right after she solved the riddle was Spring, because that was the thing. She was only going to liberate Spring. So does a mate bond supersede dark magic spells, Hybern spells? Would it supersede him not having all of his magic, all of his abilities? Is it a force beyond magic? Do we have any real proof that Phazan's mating bond is a mating bond?
Well, that's why I was like, maybe it wasn't made in the cauldron, so we can prove that their mating bond is real, where the Nessian mating bond could possibly be fake and they hated her and they were causing strife. But we can't.
It could. See, I feel like she's making it like, we know that the cauldron is half tainted, but it's still half good because the mother has control over it still. We know that it made the made weapons with the Asteri essence or whatever, but I think Sarah is making it so that everything is questionable. Like, we're literally questioning all of their mate bonds, and I think it's because it's individualized. It's who the mother prefers, who the cauldron prefers, who it hates, who it loves, what people deserve.
So basically it's just a message that we'll never be able to guess who's going to be with who. And she looked at all the theories.
Cauldron loves Elaine. Good part of the cauldron, I guess, loves Elaine.
Or it could be the bad part that loves Elaine. I'm not convinced that we're not getting an evil Elaine story.
I know. Because I mean, we could be.
Because she's so sweet and so kind, and so, I mean, it would be like, no one, people expect it now, but like people wouldn't have seen that a couple of books ago.
I know, like, seer magic is scary, but I can't really see how that could be twisted to be evil. Like, it could be twisted to like drive her insane, I suppose.
True.
But it was the power itself. I just feel like that's the thing. Like, her being a seer and Lucian being a seer, like, he can see things that others can't. I feel like that was a very purposeful thing by the cauldron that loves her. Whereas for Nesta, where it was like, kill her, like, the cauldron was cheering on Hybern when it was like going down on Nesta. When he wanted to kill Nesta, he was like, kill the thief, right? Yeah. You have the whole kill the thief thing. And the only reason why the cauldron didn't attack Nesta after was because Elaine was protecting her. Because it said, oh, it wouldn't hurt its beautiful fawn.
But that's what that's what I don't understand.
So it would make more sense to me that it would give Elaine the best mate, because let's be real, Lucian Vincera.
I know, he's the best.
And Nesta, I feel like it would totally fuck with her. Yeah. And be like, you have sexual tension with this guy? You think he's going to be your mate? Fuck you. Good luck with that.
But that's... But also, if it's an evil cauldron and it doesn't want to hurt...
But it's not fully evil. That's the tricky part. because she made it known that the mother still has reign over it. It
it's
prevented it from taking Nesta's power. She still controls it partially.
It's so weird. This whole thing is so weird. It's so weird because
But with Cassian,
I have to tell you,
yeah.
I have to tell you, I'm very concerned that the storyline is she got mated with Lucian. What did he inherit from Helion, Melanie? Curse breaking, spell breaking. He has an eye that can see that. I think, and I'm becoming afraid that he will be the one that will learn how to break mating bonds. And he's going to break him and Elaine's mating bond. It's going that way. Bringing in that corrupted cauldron.
Well, no, because Amryn is how old? As old as the gods.
15,
she literally
30,
said there is nothing that can break a mate bond. The cauldron, actually, this is exactly why I think the mate bonds kind of come from the mother, and maybe the mother is fucking with them, and the magic just comes from the cauldron, because Amryn says that Hybern is a fool. Not even the cauldron can break a bond like that. And it was proven. It couldn't break Phazan's mating bond. It could only break the bargain that they made under the mountain. And I don't think any one person, even Lucian, would be more powerful than the cauldron. It's literally the end-all be-all of their world, despite being tainted. So I don't think there's any way, unless he becomes High King and he gets partial control of the cauldron.
I honestly, I think he's gonna break it. I think he's gonna break it. I think it's gonna be Elaine going to him asking for him to break it, and he does it. And I think,
see, again, him and Helion together, which this is why I think he knows Helion's his dad.
He totally knows.
But
he knows.
Him and Helion together, that passing comment when he's like, "Oh, we tried for days to break Vasa's curse, and it wasn't budging." So, like, if he can't even break a curse, which is like a spell, he's not going to be able to break a mating bond. Come on. And is Helion training him behind the scenes? Lulu,
don't
you're
get
getting
me
to
all
know your dad.
excited. Stop it. You stop it
Okay,
right there.
okay, going back to Cassian and how, like, he literally doesn't really care about Nesta. I told you that he only wanted to get laid. Like, he only likes her for sex. It's awful.
I'm in such disbelief because
when they had that meeting in Rhys's study with Ember and Randall, and Rhys was just fucking verbally abusing her all over the place. And she was fighting back. And there's that line where it says Cassian inched slightly closer to Nesta, unsure of whose side to take.
Yeah.
Why is there any fucking question over whose side you should take?
Yeah.
You think Rhys wouldn't take Feyre's side over, like, not that he's not High Lord, but if someone else was High Lord, you don't think Rhys would have taken Feyre's side anyway?
But that's the point, is it's like you take your mate's side regardless of who's right and who's wrong.
Rhys.
Right? You have to take hers. That's how it should be.
Rhys, shut up, you little twit.
Well, he said like something like, "Oh, Rhys, it's late. Let's all reconvene in the morning," or something like that. I was
coward.
It was bad.
Coward.
And then I was diehard.
That wasn't even the only one. Dude, that wasn't even the only one. The next morning, when he flew her down to whatever house they're at, one of their 5
townhouse,
houses,
I think, or something. I don't know.
Townhouse? Yeah, probably the townhouse. When he flew her down, and then, like, again, he was just fucking standing there, letting him scream at Nesta. So much so that Ember realized how fucking defeated she looked. And how, like, shaken she looked. That Ember, this person she has known for one fucking night, interrupted and was like, "You need to fucking lay off her right now." Not a word from Cassian. Still. And then when Ember took her hand to bring her in for breakfast, Cassian still didn't say a word. And then she was like, her hands were freezing. Like, she didn't know if her mate knew if she got so cold from the flying or if he cared.
It was
fucking freezing. Cassian. That's bare fucking minimum, bro. I know you don't have a coat, okay? You probably don't have a coat. You're probably just in your fucking armor or gray sweatpants. I don't fucking know. But like, she's freezing from that flight. I'm assuming it was probably winter. You're not gonna make sure that she has like a coat on or like that you wrap her in a blanket for when you fly her. Like, you just don't care because you're more mad at her than Reese. So you're just gonna let her suffer because you're angry.
But that's what doesn't make sense, is like, why would he be more mad at her than Reese? I can't picture it. Why? Because someone was saying because he's like the peacekeeper and they had just like made peace. That doesn't make sense to me. That's your mate. That's like but like, Melanie, make it make sense.
I have to pull up this fucking quote because it's here somewhere. Ember found herself pushing out of her chair, stalking for the doors. Randall tried to grab her, but was too late.
No.
Azriel didn't stop her.
I know.
Azriel knows. Always.
Azriel knows.
Always. He
What?
is the better male, the best bat boy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think Azriel is done with Reese's shit. And I think that's just evidence that if you read it, like he's done this like twice. I know.
But also he's the one that has the reputation for being a rebel. So remember when Amren's like, oh yeah, he'll go against orders if it aligns more with his morality. He doesn't care.
But that's the thing, is like, he has
even in the war, he's like, tie me to a fucking tree, Reese.
I love it. I actually liked Azriel way more in Crescent City 3. I
told you I loved it.
I'm upset about the
snarled something at her that had Nesta's shoulders tensing and her head bowing. He's forcing people to bow now.
Or she was just so ashamed and scared, she bowed her head.
Ember flung open the glass doors and asked him, isn't it a little early to be biting people's heads off? The trio froze. Rezan slowly turned toward Ember. His eyes were black. She did not take the opportunity to make him a Pollyanna, and I'm still mad. Black fucking pits.
She heard what we said, Melanie.
Black fucking pits. The owner of the pit. I don't recall asking you to join our conversation. Shut the fuck up. You interrupted my breakfast. If you wanted privacy, you should have gone elsewhere.
I love Ember.
Was that amusement shining in Cassian's eyes? But he's not going to say anything because he's a fucking coward.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this. Ember didn't dare take her attention off Rhysand to confirm. Ember refused to move, even as a part of her quailed in terror, and said, Nesta made a choice to harbor us. She made a choice to give Midgard a shot at freedom, to give my world hope. What kind of person are you to rip her to shreds for it? Are you calling me a monster, Ember Quinlan? I'm saying give it a fucking rest. Lay off her.
I love it. I know, Ember.
She could have sworn Azriel choked. Was living for this. He's like, I wish. Any day now, I'm gonna get this gumption that this female, this mortal woman has. Rhysand held her stare for a moment, for an eternity. Stars seemed to flicker into existence in his eyes. Like the vastness of night lay within, sweet and terrible, beautiful and harrowing. Ember withstood it. She'd seen and faced true evil, bore a mark on her cheek because of it.
Also, true evil.
I know.
I know, but she's equating Rhysand to true evil.
What? She'd seen and faced true evil, so she's not afraid of him? Bro. With a wife and daughter like yours, I don't know how you're still standing.
Oh, this is the part I didn't like. Yeah.
Honestly, most days I don't know either. I think Randall was just a fucking coward too. Like he's just
Randall,
scared.
you couldn't stand up for your wife and
Rhysand
daughter.
blinked and then laughed. A moment later, Cass and Az chuckled as well. Typical males, no matter what planet they were on.
I hated this
Ember
part.
didn't smile though. Nesta wasn't laughing either. Her blue-gray eyes remained fixed on Ember, swimming with emotion, surprise, gratitude, and longing. It was that mother's instinct that had guided her last night that had Ember extending a hand toward Nesta and saying, "Come, eat breakfast with me." Ugh, Nesta took her hand, her fingers cold, like the flight up here had chilled them. Ember gave them a squeeze. Don't let them push you around. Don't worry. My sister, Rhys's mate, gave him the exact same lecture 20 minutes ago. Bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, I would like for her to stand up for Nesta a little more.
I want to see it on page.
I want to see it on fucking page too. Because I don't think her crying into her eggs was sufficient enough.
You know how I feel about that line. It's never changed.
So he brought you back up here to lecture you away from her?
Yeah.
No, Feyre put an end to their argument. I'm not going to be executed. Not today, at least. Do you think Cassian would stop him from actually killing her?
No,
Hard to say now.
Yeah.
Nesta amended. They wouldn't kill me, I don't think. But it's complicated. I doubt anyone will be forgiving me anytime soon. Like they ever forgave you in fucking ACOFAF anyway. Rhys literally knelt to her. Does he forget 6 months ago?
But that's what I'm saying. It's
6
like
months
took,
ago.
like 2 steps forward and now it's like 1 step back. It's weird.
That's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Didn't Sarah J. Maas say that this happened 6 months after ACOFAF?
She did say that. That's correct.
In this bonus chapter, Nyx is 1. Because I'll go back to it. But
wait, Nyx wasn't in that bonus chapter.
He's alluded to.
With the other 1-year-old, yeah.
I'll tell you in a second. But it says, Ember nodded toward Cassian. What about your mate? The pain in her eyes and the guilt seemed to deepen. They're just literally making her feel like shit. Cassian's the most furious with me of anyone. A muscle ticked in her jaw, like she was holding back a giant wave of raw emotion. Only a wall of steel kept it at bay. She's been like this around Cassian fucking forever.
You read it and hate it.
Ember glanced over to where Randall stood with Rhys, Azriel, and Cassian. The males were now smiling. Thank the gods.
I hated that part too.
Complaining about mates, it's practically competitive sport for them. Seems like Midgard and this place have some things in common then. What is this place? Welcome to the Night Court, Ember. You'll fit right in here. Thought that was odd. Thought that was a little sus.
What makes you say that?
I want them to come back. Come back. Nesta needs her. Let's be honest. Nesta needs her more than Bryce does.
Totally. I'm telling you, I think Nesta's gonna leave. She's out.
I think she's gonna be Dusk. I think she's gonna be Dusk Court. I think she's gonna make it a whole last court again.
The only problem is that like the island is dead without that particular power, without Bryce's power.
No, Bryce brought it back.
Bryce brought really? No, yeah. She brought it back on Midgard. She didn't bring it back on Prithian.
She says that it's most likely that she did the same with whatever because she got rid of Vesperus. That's what was causing the rot. Her Asteri essence. But what is Nesta gonna do with the prisoners is my question.
So here's the thing.
And I had a little bit of a theory. Shocker. What if the people that were in the prison weren't actually like monsters? What if they were just I don't know, like the people of dusk, or what if they were just turned into monsters by Thea or
Because
the Asteri? Because like Amryn was in there. And that's another thing. Thea put Amryn in there. And she says nothing. She says nothing. Thea put Amryn in the prison. Did you catch that?
no, that's why I'm like really confused right now. What?
Because in ACOWAR, right? ACOWAR, Amryn says that she was like captured and thrown in the prison, right? Like before the courts.
Yeah,
were,
came into existence.
after Fionn died and all of that stuff, right? And
Right.
so in the hologram from Celine, it says, "Oh, my mother captured great and mighty beings to put in this prison to guard the trove." She fucking captured Amryn.
Yeah. But also, like,
Amryn!
why doesn't Amryn recognize that? Amryn should know.
She knows so much. She knows so much. She knew immediately that the Asteri were Daglin. Immediately. She knows about Rhys's line. She knows about Rhys's line. Come on.
But there was nothing about Rhys's line. It was like he was a Dust
Oh,
Court
you
descendant.
have to be High King. Why is that, Amryn? Why is that?
Because of the Thea
Because
Fionn
you
thing.
knew his
Yeah.
queenly. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find the Nyx thing real quick. It was so
It-
funny.
Well,
Oh, here it is.
yeah.
Found it. Rhys-Anne said calmly to Randall, "I don't know your daughter, but my companion spent enough time with her lately to give me an idea. She's soft-hearted yet ruthless, scheming yet impulsive, determined yet stubborn, and with a dangerous tendency toward recklessness. She's been like that since she was a baby," Ember said, rubbing her temples. "Imagine all of that in a 1-year-old. Randall cleared his throat in warning, but she could have sworn Rhys-Anne's mouth twitched upward like he can indeed imagine such a thing. Maybe he'd lived through something similar.
So I read that, but I was like, oh, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily one. You know what I mean?
But like a 6-month-old is like crawling. Unless Nyx is like running as a 6-month-old and causing all this
The
shit.
problem.
Or like, can you just imagine a 6-month-old with the freaking darkness, like making things come to him?
Yeah, I know.
Freaking like
With Feyre and Rhys-Anne's like powers together. Can you imagine that?
misting things. Like I had it was in my RP actually. I had we had this idea where they basically treated Nyx like Elsa in Frozen because he
Yeah.
was misting things, and they're like, he can't like mist us, like he can't kill us, like there's no reversing that.
Yeah.
If he kills someone, they're gone, right? So like they put like magical mitts on him.
I love that. You want to know what? Now that you're saying that, because we were all like, "Oh, Feyre's nowhere to be found. Feyre's nowhere to be found." So yeah, maybe he's such a handful because he's so
And
powerful.
we don't know if he got any little tiny drop of any of the other High Lords magic too from
I know.
Feyre. I
know.
don't think he would have, because she was only in Illyrian form. She wasn't in High Fae form. And those are High
Well,
Fae
we don't
powers.
know. Yeah.
But because the only reason he would get Rhys's is because Rhys is his father.
Right.
So
I don't know. I think it's funny. I mean, maybe Feyre's on full-time duty with a very dangerous little child that could really cause a lot of problems, and maybe that's where she's been, because I haven't thought
And they
of
were
it like
worried
that.
about Cassian tearing down one summer court building. It
I
was
was gonna
one
say.
building. And Nyx is like,
I know.
bye-bye, Valaris.
Valaris is gone. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so silly. But yeah, I don't know. The Cassian.
I don't know. Oh my god.
The thing is that, like, I do love, even though I don't like Feyre, although I do love like reading about that, and like I want to read about. I love that bonus chapter. I love that bonus chapter.
I need to say
So
this.
good.
I need to say this on air. I know I've ranted and raved and screamed about it on the group chat.
What?
I need to speak my piece on here, and I think you know exactly what I'm gonna say.
I don't know if it's an Elreal Lucian thing. I don't.
No, it's the recent Tamlin thing.
I don't know what you're saying.
As I read you these quotes.
Oh yeah.
From
Okay,
the
yeah.
bonus chapter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I do.
Okay, so basically, Ember and Randall can't really understand them, right? And Randall's all protective. So he goes, "Open that portal," Randall growled in their own language. Ember turned to see her husband aiming the rifle at the female's pretty face. Oh, Nesta. Nesta's been through it.
I know, she has been through it.
She's just like, go ahead, take me out.
I know.
Like,
shoot.
Like, they thought she was healed in ACOFAF. I knew she was not.
But that's what's so sad. She's still getting beaten down
because they want her to be a broken little inner circle member that'll bow down to Reese. I told you.
They're constantly on her. It's awful. It's really difficult to read. It's like Tamlin all over again.
The female glanced to the wall of windows, to the blackness sweeping from the horizon.
I can so imagine this scene too. It's a really cool scene.
Like,
I know.
Again, how the fuck is he not a prince of hell? I mean, not confirmed or denied, but just saying. Neither confirmed nor denied. Even Ember's mortal blood knew it wasn't a storm. It was something far, far worse. And the way she compares him to evil, come on.
I know.
And the way that Adis is like, oh, our brothers are way worse. The female spoke again, voice still unruffled. She nodded toward the rifle, motioning with the hand in a put it down gesture. Randall did no such thing. Open that portal, he ordered again. The darkness on the horizon was racing towards them. The fine hairs on Ember's arms rose. Lower your gun, Ember whispered to him. What? Lower your fucking gun, she breathed, as the darkness raged closer, blotting out the city lights, the stars, and the moon. Randall clicked the safety back on, but he didn't have time to lower it before darkness exploded through the windows. Sounds familiar.
It does,
doesn't it? Doesn't it? Explode the whole room in anger. Doesn't it? You had no right. The female thundered behind the shut door. Ember had heard Nesta call him Rhysand. She and Randall listened from a red-stoned hall, guarded by a solemn, dark-haired male with dragon wings. That's another thing I wanted to point out. How I still think Ember is sus and probably not fully mortal. When the fuck has she seen a dragon?
That's true. Because the word, but I don't like that. Why
Dragon
would she
wings.
say
Like
dragon wings?
Well, what's she gonna call them? A bat boy?
Bat wings. Yeah, she's seen a bat.
Well, they are kind of dragon wings as well. They look the same. They have the talons too. So I don't know.
Okay.
Ember understood the words only because in those initial moments after the dark storm had ruptured the windows and burst into the room, she and Randall had been questioned. How did that not literally cut them with glass?
I know.
They didn't have Feyre's powers to shield themselves.
No, they did not.
Unless Azriel shielded them. He could have.
Maybe. He could have.
Since it was clear that they didn't understand the language, the male who had appeared from the heart of the star-flecked storm, which she just said it wasn't a storm, but okay, had given them both a silver bean and mimed eating it. The fucking goddamn pill. Ember had swallowed it only because the gray-eyed female Nesta had said that Bryce had mimed eating the beam, then pointed to her mouth. Ember remembered that her daughter had mentioned eating some sort of magical thing here that had allowed her to understand and speak to these people in their own language.
I know.
Shall I school you Reese fans now? I don't want to hear shit from you people anymore about Tamlin exploding. Any fucking more. One word and I am bringing up this scene with the receipts.
Yeah, I think we should.
Any fucking more. And again, Feyre had powers to shield herself. Ember and Randall did not.
No.
They were human. Thank you very much. Human.
I know. I read this.
Burst through the windows. Exploded the sitting area.
Crazy.
Thank you. Next. Yes, and
I cannot wait until people read this chapter. But you want to know what? They're going to make an excuse for it. They're going to make excuses.
Oh, just like they did with the Azriel bonus chapter. The bonus chapters don't even matter. They're not even canon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
They're going to be like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It was the exact same situation.
It was the exact same. And on top of that, Tamlin immediately felt remorse, ran over to Feyre and apologized.
Yeah.
And Rhys grabbed them, shoved them in the study, and questioned them. He didn't even, I'm assuming he didn't check to see if they had any cuts from his explosion.
Oh, no. No.
Again, Azriel probably shielded them, but should he have had to? She shouldn't have had to shield herself if he could control his anger.
I'm telling you, and I know this is kind of an unpopular opinion, but Rhys and Tamlin, man, are kind of like starting to look a little bit like the same to me, and not even.
I told you last season that Rhys's anger issues are way worse than Tamlin's, and I gave you all of the examples.
I knew it. I mean, absolutely. And when he just like snapped.
Tamlin doesn't even, obviously, doesn't like Rhys or his inner circle. Saved their lives.
I know.
Multiple times. You think that he would have walked over to one of them at Hybern and broken their wing or twisted their arm?
But also, we don't see Tamlin going and crushing the literal arm of one of the members of his court because he looked at his wife incorrectly. Like Kier, as much as like a POS as he is, he's a terrible human being. We all know this. Rhyston literally to like little bits.
Oh, I know what they're gonna say to this.
What could they?
They're gonna say he killed the guards that were on duty when Feyre was taken, which, again, that was alluded to.
It was, yeah.
We don't know if he actually killed them. It was said that he killed them. But honestly, good for him for enforcing his laws.
I know.
He was enforcing his laws.
Well, I mean,
Rhys doesn't.
They did let more through. Like they did kind of let her through. And let's be real, Alice, who I'm still
Well,
waiting
Moore
for...
said that she put them to sleep with her power.
Okay. So I'm also waiting. I don't know if she's forgotten about Alice, but like, where's Alice's Day of Reckoning? Because I'm ready for it.
We've complained about Alice so fucking much. And she forgot about her. She's done.
Oh, the OG traitor herself, Alice.
I know.
SJM, if you hear this, because I know you hear our theories.
You know what? I'm just going to put everything on Reddit from now on.
She's read every theory. People are like, she doesn't read the theories. Dude, she reads the theories. Her editors read the theories. Her marketing, the college
Bloomsbury reads the theory. You cannot tell me those 20-something-year-olds don't read the theory.
Okay, but also because in the reels, I was kind of ruthless, but like in the reels, they're like
Sorry, I remembered what I wanted to bring up, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Insane.
No, go.
Did you see though? They're scrolling. It's like insane fan theories, and they're like laughing about it, and it's like that's funny to you, but it's not to us. Did you see my comment on it? I'm like, I think it did. Yeah, I felt kind of mean saying that, but like, I don't want to see you seeing their pining over.
Did you see my comment on one of them?
No, I don't think I did.
I go, I just put, where are the answers?
Did they comment?
Answers! No, they didn't. But people liked it. I, again, because this happens in the middle of the night, weirdly, I will literally sit up from a dead sleep and be like, what? Click. Okay. Reese and Feyre, did they get a tattoo from the Death Bargain, the Death Pact?
Yeah. I thought they did.
I
don't know.
On her back? Was that the phases of the moon on her back?
I can't remember.
Fuck.
Honestly.
You would think I would remember, but
you would think I can't.
Anyways. I'm gonna prepare for this one.
Oh no. Oh, are you gonna say about the leaving the planet together?
Nope.
Thing? Oh, okay.
We haven't seen Feyre recently, have we?
No.
She died in ACOFAFers.
Oh my god, I know where you're going with this. Go on, keep going. Oh my god,
Nesta only stopped it because of the mask right before Reese died. Because of that, is the Death Pact gone? Does it erase the Death Pact because she already died and Reese did not die with her? So they successfully evaded a bargain.
No, I don't think that comes into play. No, because she didn't actually die.
Yes, she did. Yes, she
No.
did. No, she was dead and Nyx was dead. He was like stillborn. She died.
So yeah, but
she full on died. That's why Reese was like screaming and raging. She died. No more Death Pact. This makes me happy.
No, I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's still there.
No, because
Reese didn't die. They had to fulfill the Death Pact. They have to die together. He stayed alive because she stopped time, so it didn't fulfill it. It's still there.
But they got around the bargain. Feyre did die without him. So what are the consequences to fucking over a bargain? Because remember, Reese's whole thing is like, bargains, like, they're going to take retribution. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They could kill you. Like, he was really intense about bargains. And we saw what happened at Hybern when he used the cauldron to nullify their bargain. I'm telling you, Nesta used the dread trove. She had to get rid of that bargain to save them.
I disagree.
She had to get rid of the Death Pact to save Reese because he wasn't dead yet. To bring Feyre back.
No.
Yeah.
It's too big of a, that's not how she's gonna remedy it. It's too big of a point to just do it that way. There's no way. There's no way. And that's not where I thought you were going to take it.
The cauldron's the only thing that can destroy a bargain if it's not successful. Because Feyre didn't go back to Spring, right? So that bargain was basically going to be on her arm forever. It was so painful to remove that they thought it was her mate bond.
No, I like where your head's up. I disagree. There's no way. She's gonna do something so much more traumatic.
I'm telling you right now, she's gonna come on screen. She's gonna be wearing like a low-backed fucking dress or something. She's not gonna have the tattoo.
I will.
Moore is gonna come back or something and be like, "Where's your tattoo?" And she's gonna be like, oh, I noticed like after the birth it was gone.
Mm.
And we realized that, you know, since we have a child now, we can't exactly reinstate it.
No, I
Definitely.
disagree. It's not gonna happen.
It's
I
totally gonna
now,
happen.
now we have to wait
Because
2 years.
everyone is pissed at SJM for that pact. Even the Fazans were like, that
Because
was
it's a
fucking stupid.
It was
Yeah.
stupid.
Just
But that's what I'm saying is
act on it.
she's gonna do something with it. That's her little back. That's her chip in the back pocket. She
She's
has
not
a
gonna
plan.
kill them again.
She
There's
will.
no way.
She's totally gonna kill them
There's
again.
no way she's gonna kill them again. Overdone.
Absolutely
Overdone,
no way.
overused.
She's gonna do it.
Mm-mm.
You watch it. It's gonna be awful.
I'm
She's
putting
gonna
that
do
as
something.
the poll for this video. Is
Do it.
Fazan gonna die or is Cassian gonna die?
And no, make the poll. Do you think the Death Pact is gone with the Silver Flame thing? Because it's not.
It totally
Because
is.
you know it's not.
The
And
dread trove is directly from the cauldron. The cauldron's the only thing that can get rid of a bargain.
You're too imaginative. You're too creative. You're too intelligent. That's not how it's going to be. You did not learn your lesson from Crescent City 3. I'm really disappointed in you.
No, I'm saying this because SJM knows that even the Fazan stands are mad at it, and she's just gonna make that up to get rid of it. Especially because they have a child now.
You know, I was actually
They're not gonna leave Nyx an orphan. They're
You
not
wanna
gonna
know
do
what?
it.
Yeah,
Not
they
gonna
would.
do it.
Yeah, she
No,
would.
they wouldn't. Who's taking care of Nyx? They ain't
It's
gonna
gonna
give her a nest.
It's gonna be like Elaine.
Elaine.
The inner circle is gonna take care of Nyx.
Yeah, okay. Oh my god. Moore and Amryn and Cassian are gonna raise this poor
Wait. You had a
No.
valid point on something though. We haven't seen, go back to your statement. I want you to think about that and tell me what you think. We haven't seen Feyre in a while, period. Okay. Going on that. Is that not weird to you that, and then we see Rhysand acting like Tamlin. Has Rhysand locked Feyre up? Is he forbidding her to leave the house? I mean, if we're gonna go down the crack.
Probably.
Right? Is he becoming like Tamlin now? Is he experiencing some PTSD from Feyre dying?
I love to point this out to people when they bring up the whole shield thing. Rhys already trapped Feyre in Moonstone Palace twice for the bargain. When she was like, take me home, take me the fuck home, take me home. He was like, no, I have to go do some errands. And then he leaves. Like she didn't know how the fuck to get back. He trapped her there twice. Twice. Thank you very much. Before she decided she wanted to stay. Just so you know. And then the fucking pregnancy bubble. He had to let it down so Cassian could kiss her cheek. What the fuck? This woman is trapped in a fucking Ziploc bag her entire pregnancy. Like I just see this as like you haven't watched Charmed, right?
No.
I always bring up Charmed. But there's an episode called Spin City where Piper is pregnant and there's a spider demon and she cocoons her to like feast on their magic, like her and the babies, because like it's a powerful baby, kind of like Nyx.
Yeah.
And like every time I see that fucking cocoon, I'm like, there you go. If it was clear and she could still move and talk in it, that's the bubble. So it's body tight cocoon.
Can I tell you something? You're gonna hate me so much.
No, do not say that it was a sweet gesture, bitch. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare. It was not. It was sketch as fuck. I know exactly where you're going with shit. I know you better than you know you. My brain is 3 steps ahead. But anyway.
Well, you said it for me. I guess I don't have to say it.
How dare you?
This whole episode, I don't know if we can use it.
I'm posting it. I don't care. Anyway, I don't know. There's still a possibility that I'm right about Nessie and mate bond.
Well, I have to say, if I was furious at you before, but now I mean, there's a high chance that you could be correct. Yeah, I'm pretty upset about it. There's no explanation for his behavior.
The way that everyone justified him in ACOFAF and said that Nesta was worse.
It was just such a quick turnaround. It was such a quick turnaround over like character assassination, though. That's what I'm so upset about. And like she's intentionally leaving him out of the book, and that really bothers me because they're newly mated. You're not going to be away from your mate while she's going and exploring fucking Midgard.
Oh, no mention of them getting married.
So is
no
he
mention of the mating ceremony?
I know. So is like he's pissed at me most of all? Is it because she said no to the mating ceremony? Did she postpone it? Is she not wanting kids?
The kids question.
But that's like what's weird to me.
I don't know how to be a mother. You could.
It was weird.
Supportive friend, but also that's like her business. Come on.
I thought it was sweet. I
thought it was sweet, but I also feel like you know I love Az, but I also feel like Cassian was probably like, you guys are friends and we're pissed at each other. Can you ask her if there's still a possibility? And she's like, this
ridiculous.
Fucker.
No.
I want a mini Cassian running around. Fuck no.
No way. Az is being like very sincere there and like trying to be like, you would be a wonderful mother. Like,
yeah, I did like that part.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Az and Nesta's, aside from the Valkyries, I think Az and Nesta's friendship is my favorite.
I love their friendship, but it's also kind of creepy.
Creepy.
Just the stroking of the hair and the intimacy.
I think he knew that her mate was being an awful fucking person to her. And I think he was just, he's just a good guy. He likes to comfort people. He likes to be the white knight. He white knights it a lot.
So I like that. And that's actually it makes more sense for him to be overly
protective,
overly affectionate if her and Cassian have been fighting bitterly. That would make a lot more sense.
And like she already looked like they had beaten her down.
Yeah.
And Azrael was very again, like he didn't stop Ember. Like he's like, go fight for Nesta. Like Azrael, top tier bestie. Top tier.
He actually really is. And I'm starting to feel like he's gonna be my favorite bat boy out of all of them. Boy.
I called it.
But I would A1. But what are Cassian and Nesta? Because it can't possibly just be that she gave the fucking mask. He can't possibly just. It irks me.
Can you imagine if she just didn't show up to the mating ceremony because she was freaking out?
I mean, maybe that's what happened because I don't remember reading about rings.
I don't think she would have done it to be awful, but she also has a pattern of self-sabotaging that makes her look awful.
I'm kind of getting the feeling of maybe cold feet. I don't know.
I'm getting the feeling that they're not getting there.
I'm getting the feeling there's definitely. I like how we're I'm getting the feeling. There's
the vibe is off.
There's a breakup on the horizon.
There's
a breakup.
I literally cannot express how gratified I feel.
I hate you so much. He was my
literally
favorite.
Cannot express the gratification bursting from my form right now. Because everyone in the fucking group, everyone said I was crazy, that they were not going to end up together. Everyone said I was fucking crazy. Do I know the vibe or do I know the vibe? Thank you. Thank you very much.
They did, and we all, even I said, I was like, you're nuts. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I'm really raw right now, emotionally, from Cassian. I'm really raw. I'm very
the amount of glee bursting from my body. I don't think there's anything I enjoy more in this life than being right.
Why would she do that, Melanie? But it's like, what the fuck? Seriously.
When everyone, the main argument against me, which you even said, why would they get a whole book together, healing, if they're not going to end up together? Really?
But okay.
I invite you to turn to A Court of Thorns and Roses, a novel by Sarah J. Maas. And then A Court of Mist and Fury, a novel by Sarah J. Maas.
Damn, dude. If she does an ACOFAF to Cassian to Nessian.
She already did. This is his ACOFAF. This is his Hamlin story.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. This chapter is so charged with so much important information, and you leave it out.
I think I'm the most mad that she just titled it Ember and Randall chapter, because so many people are not gonna read it.
That's why
they're gonna be like, oh, it's just fucking Ember and Randall.
That's why she did. She's like, this is the juicy. I could so see Sarah J. Maas, and I think she's just.
What can I name it? Not Nesta and Rhysand. Nesta's already in a bonus chapter, but she's gonna be in this one too. Not even like, I don't know, Rhys and Cassian or Rhysand's chapter.
Yeah, Rhysand's sell out. No, she's sitting there and she's like, in her little Sarah J. Maas library desk office.
This is exactly why I told you earlier. Like, that was my reaction to Bryce and Danica. I was like, Danica's been fucking dead for 2 books. I literally don't give a shit about anything that happened when she was alive. Like, what? They found something out about some club. But then I read this, and then I was like, is this an extended scene of Spirit Danica when Bryce was dead? Are we gonna get her talking to Connor?
Did you get the Bryce and Danica photo chapter? I didn't get that one.
Well, everyone's gonna put it in the Discord, the people that got it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna guess. I know a lot of my guesses. Huh?
I said, rule number 1 of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. Hush it.
Shh. I never said that. But yeah, I was like, ugh, fucking Bryce and Danica. Like, I don't want that one. It's gonna be boring. But then I read the scene where she's in the other world, the eternal land of milk and honey, so to speak. And she sees the pack of devils. And see, Connor did make it there. All of them were there. Their spirits helped with the whatever, and then they went to whatever.
I love that.
Because Hypaxia was under Queen, and she allowed them peace. Love her.
I love that. I love that.
Props to Pax, my girl.
But also, so sad for all the people that didn't get to go to heaven, but neither here nor there.
So like this one, Ember and Randall scene. It was much more than an Ember and Randall scene. So Bryce and Danica scene. Are we going to get her talking to Connor? Stop. You wanted to see that.
I don't want to talk. Please, we can't talk about Connor and Ethan right now.
You're like, Cassian,
Connor. I literally just stopped crying about the scene in CC3 with both of them. I can't. And then to add on top of it, I can't right now, or else I'll just. I can't.
Okay. I'm gonna bring this up again.
No. Not if it's Connery, then you're not.
It's not really Connery. It stems from the Connery thing. So she's in the spirit realm, right? Jessica tells her about the amulet. Who knows why the amulet mattered so much to Apollyon, but he still doesn't know. Open-ended story, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes? No?
Totally.
Twilight of the Gods, possibly? But, so there's that, and then she, like, turns, and she sees Danica, and she's like, light it up, Bryce, and she's like, light it up, Danica, and she sees all the silhouettes of the entire pack of devils.
I know.
So Connor was there. She said all 7 of them.
Okay.
All 7, again, 7. All 7 of them. So we're gonna argue about this till the end of time. Cormac is not dead.
It's not happening. You need to accept.
I do not accept it. I do not, unless
He's not coming back.
Unless he steps out of the mist of the other world to also say, I knew you could do it, Bryce. I knew you could do it, Bryce. Then that will tell me he's a spirit. He's dead. Why do we not see him there?
Do we see Sophie? I don't remember. Yeah.
So that's why it was suspicious, because Sarah J. Maas did not forget about Cormac.
Yes, she did.
No, she did not. Because
she did.
In Rune and Lydia's bonus chapter, he says, wherever he is with Sophie.
No, don't read into it. Remember, we learned our lesson with this.
I feel like I did not learn my lesson. Okay, but see, here's the thing. She did what none of us thought she was gonna do. So y'all can call me Delulu until it happens. But I kind of still think Sophie faked her death. You can call me crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna call you Delulu. I'm gonna call you nuts. We have her body, and it's like mentioned over and over and over and over.
No,
she's dead.
No, the Ocean Queen, who was a rebel, found her body. Cormac saw it, cried, right? Cried about it.
He held her hand in that boat.
I know. Cried about it, right? Realized during his schemes in CC2 that wasn't actually Sophie. Something tipped him off that wasn't actually Sophie. Because her entire death, you cannot tell me her entire death wasn't suspicious. You can't tell me. They couldn't find her body for how many days? How many weeks? The Ocean Queen suddenly has it.
When did Cormac realize that wasn't Sophie's body?
No, I'm saying I think he was tipped off by something in that scene when he was crying that it wasn't Sophie's body.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Because I still think he faked his death. I think he faked his death. I think he found out. I think he found out where the fuck she went, or she sent him some sort of message through the crystals.
We didn't even use the calm crystals.
Exactly. You don't think that wasn't suspicious?
I think she did
the way that Therian said he didn't plan on making it out alive. Plan. The key word here is plan. Plan. He did what he had to do to help Bryce.
He committed suicide.
Asteri was still gonna either keep or steal Sophie for her power. He was gonna go be with his girl.
And that was a whole other we could talk about this for 3 more hours.
Go be with his he's with his girl, he's alive. I'm telling you right now.
No. You know what? Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet right now.
Because
Sophie's dead. They're all dead.
Okay, but Ethan needed her body. What was the point? Tell me what the point of bringing that up was, only for her to point out, oh, it's buried under rubble now. I'm sorry, what? And when and why did the Ocean Queen give it to Morven for safekeeping on ice? Excuse me?
No.
They were trying to extract power from it, and they couldn't because it wasn't actually Sophie. That's why this is why Morven had the Cabinet of Crystals, because Hunt had the same power. Hunt puts his power in crystals. He was trying to put Sophie's power in crystals. He couldn't. They weren't filled. It was a cabinet of unfilled crystals. And that's why she added that.
Where does Hunt store all his
like that?
I saw that. Wait, where does Hunt store all his crystals again?
Well, no, the Asteri had them. Remember, they forced him to put his power in them so he could they could resurrect the Harpy into like this zombie-like creature.
Right.
So Morven had some plans too. I don't know what it was, but he had the body and a cabinet of crystals. Tell me why.
They're all trying to get back. I mean, I want them to go back to Prithian,
but they were empty, so they couldn't get power from that body.
Because they were too stupid.
Which says something, because Hypaxia specifically says there would be enough left in her body to help resurrect Sigrid. You know I make sense, because you know that she puts the most random shit as clues.
But she didn't even use she didn't even use any of the clues that we have.
Obvious ones.
Any ANY, none in Crescent Save 3. None of the clues were used.
Well, Hunt calling Bryce a queen all of CC2, and then she becomes a queen. That was a clue. But that was a more obvious clue that
was like the most obvious. My like toddler could have figured that out.
She used the whole Cassian's a prick clue that only I picked up on. You can't even say shit. Whole Reese is actually a terrible person and everyone else's POV clue in Nesta's book that only I picked up on.
Well, I picked up on that one too. I picked up on that one too. That was me too.
You were like, but.
Yeah, I did. I did. I'm surprised she's staying with that storyline where he's kind of an ass and everyone else's POV.
I love it so much.
It doesn't make sense.
But anyway, like a cabinet of crystals and Sophie's body that we never get to see after the Ocean Queen's lair. After Cormac dies. It's under rubble. You're just gonna let this poor girl's corpse. Whatever.
There's no way.
She's all under the ground with Einar now. And Morven.
But here's the thing though. There's no use for Sophie and Cormac in any of the other books. There's no plot for them. It's nothing. Like after seriously. How would they possibly be of any use in any of the future books?
Sigrid is still a Reaper.
What?
Sigrid is still a Reaper. They still have to bring her back.
So you think that Sigrid's going to become such a problem that they need Cormac and Sophie to kill her?
Technically Hunt could do it, but they already asked him for the parasite. They could ask Hunt, technically. But there has to be a twist. There's always a twist. Again. There's always a twist.
I don't want to get my hopes up because remember,
and Hypaxia being under queen, that wasn't purposeful. Rune specifically bringing up how he wishes he got time with the cousin that sat down with him at that bar.
No, you're reading too much into it. No way, ma'am. I'm not going. Do not get my hopes up at all. Do not get my hopes up.
The fucking cabinet of crystals. The fucking cabinet.
But see, that's what Sarah has done.
Yeah.
That's what Sarah has done throughout all her series, throughout
But
Turn of Glass.
But like I told you what it is. It's not getting a description of Sophie's body. Not seeing Sophie's body when it was needed. It's conveniently under rubble. There's a convenient chest of unused crystals where Morven was keeping the body on ice for something. Same. And even if Cormac was blown up, we don't see his soul. So we don't see Sophie's body, and we don't see Cormac's soul. Until I see Cormac in the fucking spirit realm, he is not dead. Sophie is questionable, I will say, but there's a lot of really weird stuff with her death. You have to admit that. Her death was weird.
It's very weird, but she's
suspicious.
She's very dead. The only thing,
you don't know that. You don't know that. They didn't find her connected to the lead blocks. They found her body later. How did she get out of the lead blocks?
No, ma'am, I'm not going down. No.
Her Thunderbird powers?
She wasn't on the dead blocks. You missed the whole point of that scene because the Ocean Queen had already taken her body off the blocks. That was already answered. That's no. It's no.
No, but Lydia said that she thought she had, like, Lydia said, like, oh, her Thunderbird power could have released her. She could have done it herself.
No, because then we have
because
it in
it's like
scenes later that she's dead on the table.
Yeah,
no.
but was it her?
Is totally her.
Cormac is a top tier actor.
He's dead.
He's not
gonna show everyone's soul in heaven.
I'm gonna go over that scene and I'm gonna find something that's suspicious and something in his demeanor that says that he realized that was not actually Sophie on that table. And I'm gonna then go back to the scene where he gets blown up and he just accepts it. He was definitely faking his death, especially, which we've brought up a billion times, especially with the fucking word mark tattoo. Why does he have a tattoo of Erd marks?
Okay, where, tell me this. Okay, say that they're alive. Where are they?
Hiding until the Asteri was gone. He did what he needed to do to help Bryce. The Asteri still wanted Sophie dead, or they wanted to use her to resurrect people. That's why they were glad they had Hunt. They realized that Hunt had that power, and they made him put his power in the crystals to resurrect the Harpy.
So you mean to tell me that Cormac, who is so against the Asteri, is going to be absent for the final battle when they could really use him, and he's out hiding? No way. He's not going to let that happen. Sophie?
Hunt, Baxian, Rune.
No.
All just as powerful as him. Locked up in the dungeons. He was like, I fucking escaped death from them once. I am going to just chill with my lady love until they take care of these Asteri. And he deserved that shit. Good job, Cormac. Good job. I don't blame you. It's like Feyre. It's like Cassian and Rhys telling Feyre, like, you're not trained enough to fight Highburn. And then Rhys didn't. Rhys, like, and then Rhys was like half the time just chilling with Feyre. Until the cauldron needed to be seen. I'm trying to think of a better analogy.
No way. Because here's the deal. Because now for 2 years, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to be like, Cormac's so dead. Cormac and Sophie are alive. Do something. And then we're going to get.
I'm telling you right now.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. There is a fucking. If he is not in that bonus chapter as a spirit, which I don't know if I'm hoping he is. Like, if he's dead, I'm hoping he is. If he's not in that fucking bonus chapter as a spirit, mark my words, bitch. He's coming back. Because there was such a lack of talking about him. Even Tharian. I don't even think maybe Therian brought him up like once, and Rune brought him up like twice. But Sophie was more talked about.
I will listen. We will end it here on this note because I gotta go to bed. But I will take that bet. We need to come back 2 years down the line when we finally have some answers.
If he's not in the bonus chapter.
If he's not in the bonus chapter. And whoever wins this bet, we're gonna long distance a Starbucks to each other or something. I don't quite know.
We'll send each other a book or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll buy you whatever book you want. But, he's dead.
But do you remember when we read the whole Morven thing and you're like, why does he have crystals? We couldn't figure out why he had crystals. That's why he had crystals. That's also why he had Sophie's body. And
wait a second. The only way I could think this could happen is if Morven was trying to resurrect his dead son. Is that what you're alluding to? That he was trying to use Sophie's
son. He didn't like Cormac. Him and Einar were in the Asteri's pocket. He was trying to help him out, I think.
Who was he trying to resurrect by using that power in Sophie's body?
We'll never know.
But he was in black. Even though he said he hated his son, he was in his black Illyrian armor. So
he had to pretend. I don't know.
I'm a simp for like a redemption dad story. It's always
they weren't. They were awful. They deserved everything they got, and he was a traitor. And then he got his fucking throat slit, as should have happened. As he should have.
If your Cormac is alive theory is allowed, then my father, Einar,
Morven and Einar really were rebels, and they just never got a chance to say it. Even though he tried to stab Bryce through the heart.
A girl could dream.
I'm telling you, the fact that those crystals were unfilled and Hypaxia was on this whole rant about how her body had enough power. And then we don't see the body. And then we don't see his soul.
No. Hey, when is the next book coming out now? Because now we gotta wait a really long time for some answers.
I always thought that she had said 2025 for the next ACOTAR one, but it's been pushed. But yeah,
well, you know what? 2 years from now,
and maybe not to amend anything, but Hypaxia as Underking and a necromancer, and the fact that she only tried necromancy twice and for Ethan, and the Underking interrupted both times, means that there's going to be a third, her number 3, successful attempt because the Underking is no longer living. He's going to be alive one way or the other. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be reading Crescent Save 4. I hope it doesn't get leaked again because that would just be devastating. The body has to be fresh enough.
But what's fresh enough? Because this whole book was only like, a week? Because Bryce was in Prithian for 5 days, I think it's.
Yeah, it was really weird. His book was still fucking fresh.
If he has body parts left, because he was kind of blown up, but.
All right.
Or they could just pull an Asteri and put his soul in another body.
No. No, woman.
One way or the other. The fandom is pissed that she killed him. Pissed.
Cormac?
Who else said that many people?
You're the only person I've ever heard complain.
No, I have seen multiple reels of Cormac is not dead. Cormac is not dead. Cormac is not dead. Cormac is not dead. He had tattoos. He planned it. Blah, blah, blah. Like so many. I'm not the only one who's saying this. They didn't read HOFAS yet, of course.
Yeah.
But no. I'm not the only one who thought he wasn't dead. And you cannot tell me that Sarah J. Maas did not see how enraged people were. Especially if she saw the Sathya theory.
She saw everything. She saw Saki theory. She saw the Lauren theory and intentionally left her out just to
For
hurt
now.
us. You really think she's gonna bring her back in after what she did?
Well, I think it was very suspicious. I wanted to bring this up earlier, but I think it was very suspicious that Bryce or Celine said it, and then Bryce said it again. Said that there are portals, multiple portals across both of the worlds.
I can't even get my hopes up because like the one theory, especially like the Lauren thing, really, Sathea becomes a major character and Lauren doesn't?
Yet.
What the?
Yet.
You know, she's sitting there in New York
Because
and
you
SJM's
know
just laughing her ass off. Like,
you can't fucking tell me anymore. So I was convinced that she just forgot all of ACOTAR. Like, she didn't like Tamlin. She didn't want to go back to her first book, right? The Middengard worm just let me know that she's still looking into ACOTAR and the shit that she put in there. The mural, the starlight pool, the way that she explained Tamlin's brothers and him and his father getting into the night court to slaughter Reese's family. I had no hope until they said the whole portal thing. And then I saw the Middengard worm. And I was like, she does still remember ACOTAR. Curious what she will add to the future books with clues from ACOTAR or ACOMAF.
I mean, that's
maybe we'll see some sort of ancestors who were, say, the Dead Sisters in the Weavers song.
Yeah.
Because
I loved ACOTAR. That was such a good book. I love ACOTAR. I actually think ACOTAR is my favorite, especially since now we have Cassian, who you can't undo. She can't undo the damage that she's done.
Like a Taylor Swift song, you can't undo the damage.
You know what? I'm gonna write this song.
Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes.
Yeah.
You say sorry just for show. Literally, Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You're gonna be posting.
Do you know? Look at like Silver Flames was my favorite book. ACOTAR a close second. Silver Flames is my favorite. Down at the bottom of the list now. It's garbage. Cassian just fucked it all up. And I don't care what anyone,
pure validation.
I don't care what anyone says because and everyone's like, ACOTAR is the worst book. ACOTAR is the best book.
Best Fae vibes.
It has the best Fae vibes. It has the best villain. Amarantha was fucking awesome. It has
was nothing compared to his general.
No. He was like a piece of crap. And then we have Under the Mountain, which the scenes were so harrowing in of itself. The fucking Middengard worm, and then Feyre tossing the bone like a javelin. I mean, it was awesome. It was such good writing.
At first, I thought the Middengard worm was really stupid, and I was kind of annoyed. But the more I thought about it, I was just like, so she is remembering ACOTAR.
Do you think that's what she was doing, though? You think she was thinking about ACOTAR?
I think.
And she's in it?
I think she was like, okay, there are some little things I can use. You can't, like, that was you have to admit, that was a very, very random ass line about Reese's sister. Why? And like,
I know.
And purposely never giving us Tamlin's point of view. Purposely. Never on anything. The fucking mural, bro. The eyes and teeth. It's a fucking portal. She's back in the fucking portal.
I want to think so, but I am too depressed.
Forget that. Ramiel in the Spring Court Gallery. Who the fuck else would have painted it? Not Tamlin, not Reese, not Tamlin's fucking family that hated the Night Court. there's no other explanation except a secret affair, because you know that if he met Reese at court events, he's also meeting his sister.
No, I'm weak. No, I know. But like, look at what everything she. There's no way she's gonna do that. We have to do that on our own.
I feel like that's such a major thing to never bring up again. And we do have another 3 or 4 books. I don't feel like she wants us to have instant gratification. And she's just making the slowest burns in the history, unlike Tog, which is fairly fast paced, even though it's a long series.
So the only thing I can think of, and I think I told you this, was she got wind that like there were people out there, you know, kind of we talked about it.
Yeah.
But we were not the only ones that had mentioned the Lauren theory. And I think she was like, so you want to spoil the surprise for everybody? And I think she's like, you know what? I'm going to make you, I could see it. I could see her being like, I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to make you have to read.
Suffer for a whole other book until we get all that history in Asriel's
4 more books. She's going to be like, I'll give it to you in the last ACOFAFers
Tamlin's book. The last book
will be Tamlin's. And she's gonna kick it off down the road. She's like, you want to talk about it online? Fine then. Fine.
There's gonna be
5 years from now. That's why you can't come up with theories anymore. Because she's gonna be like,
so here's the thing. I'm trying to think of the situation that would once again bring Midgard and Prithian together.
Ain't gonna happen.
I would hope that she would do that, because like Nesta and Ember were cool.
Nesta needs Ember.
Yeah. And like the fact that like she can't just be totally cut off from her now. And I don't think Ember would really want that either. I feel like they would kind of come to visit. But my thought is, what would be a situation that would bring them together, that would involve Tamlin, that would involve the Pegasi, because you know that's a big thing. It ending with the Pegasi sprouting from the ground, and Asriel's book being next, with a certain priestess who has an affinity for Pegasi. If ACOTAR 6 is Asriel's, and it does stay 2025, it could be considered a tandem read, because she did not originally say that Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms was a tandem read, but it happened at the same time, around the same time.
Yeah.
So I really, even if the Valkyries are just like training or something, and they stumble across a portal, and Nesta's like, oh, by the way. And they're like, you didn't fucking tell us that someone from another world dropped in and you became besties with her? Traitor. The betrayal.
True.
The betrayal. Bryce with the Valkyries. I wanted that.
We all wanted that. That was the whole thing. We all wanted that. And it didn't happen.
Bryce is gonna, I don't know, something's gonna happen. She's gonna open the portal because Ember's gonna want to visit. She's gonna see Nesta training with the Valkyries, and they're gonna have that. They're gonna be in like one, or not even training, but they're gonna be in one of their fucking sleepovers at the House of Wind, and there's gonna be that little Pegasus thing floating around, and Gwen's gonna be laughing, and she's gonna be like, and then she's gonna be like, I own some.
Have some.
Have some. Because they can't fly, right? And the whole thing with, again, if Nesta stays mated to Cassian, the whole thing was, why the fuck is she okay with her house being the House of Wind if she can't leave it without Cassian? Because it'll take hours to go down the stairs. She technically can take the stairs now. But she can't leave her house unless Cassian takes her.
Oh boy.
Valkyries, even the lore with Valkyries, they're always on like flying horses. So
We'll see. Woo! So much to think about.